Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmitty, Swanny and Clarky visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised.
All right. Great to see you both again.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey,
lovely.
how are you?
That was a little bit over enthusiastic. Right, just so
Oh,
nice
sorry.
to see you.
Oh, well, I'm happy to see you.
Yes.
I'm especially happy since we, as you say, Carla, have our trial by technology. And I will upfront advise those listeners that when you hear a car go past, that's because I'm sitting in a car doing this recording because there's no internet at Eildon because there's too many people. And that's my dedication. It's 33 degrees and I'm roasting in a car.
We wouldn't be allowed to leave a dog in a car like that, but poor Caroline's podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Have you got
Someone's going to come and
going?
report you to yourself. The police will be coming and knocking on the door and checking you're okay.
I'm all right. I got my Coke Zero. We're sweet. So, how are you two? Good?
No news from my end. It's just sort of, new year, time to start getting on with it. Public holidays,
Yeah.
all that kind of jazz where you don't quite know what day it is or what's happening yet. Hasn't quite hit full swing.
Yeah, we're good here. We've still got another week of holidays, and we've just spent the morning cleaning out cupboards and getting ourselves prepped for the crazy year ahead, chucking stuff out that you had to use by date of 2016. All that sort of stuff.
It was still good. I don't know what you're doing. What waste?
I honestly,
Anyway.
I think some of it would have been still fine, but I have a bit of an issue with best before dates because if you could bring stuff over from the UK on ships in 1788, I reckon you could keep things in your pantry for a while as well. Anyway, they're all gone, so we're starting afresh, which is lovely.
Okay, cool. So, shall we say who we are? I'm Schmitty.
I'm Swanny.
And I'm Clarky, and together we are
Trial by
Wine.
Oh, yeah, best yet. And what are we drinking today?
Well, we are having a little CH Lane limited release French Oak Chardonnay. This is one
yum.
that I don't know if I told you no, I did tell you. We bought some stuff on Grays Online. So this is one of those. And it's not bad. It's not my normal kind of buttery Chardonnay that I like, but it's quite flavoursome. Goes all right. So, yeah, we're going to polish that off in the next 15 minutes probably because it's 34 degrees and it's time. How about you?
Fair enough. Well, as I said, I'm in the car, so I have to behave myself. So I've got 3 giant-size Coke Zeros. So that's me. And Carla?
Oh, I'm just on a DC today, darling.
Well, I'm backing
in
it up
between-
with a bunch
after-
of DCs,
yes.
don't worry.
After Christmas and New Year, I'm about to head off again to Rotto, so I'm just taking a window of opportunity to not drink before we start again tomorrow.
I don't understand those windows, but fair enough. Okay.
If you were as nasally as me, you would.
Yeah, true. It's a small blessing. So,
Yeah.
Clarky, have you got a story for us today?
I do have a story, yes. It's an interesting one, and I just did a quick read through, and there's parts of it that are actually quite graphic. So I'm just going to put that out there right now. Graphic in the sense that we explore how some people were murdered. So if that's not your cup of tea, or if you're not feeling resilient enough to deal with that right now, maybe switch off and turn on a little bit later when you're feeling like you're ready
Considered
to hear about that.
forewarned.
No worries. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yes. Well, it's pleasing that Carla didn't say, "Oh, I can't go."
I have.
Because I've
I'm
heard you
yes,
say
yes.
that a couple of times.
I'm feeling
over the
quite
last
robust
few
this
weeks.
morning, or today.
Yeah, I think
So
she's been
I,
hungover the last time. She's like, oh no,
Absolutely.
I just can't do
I'm not
this.
feeling
I can't
quite
do
as
this.
fragile as I have on other occasions. So yes, I'm considering myself forewarned.
Okay,
But
me too.
let's see how I go. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Alrighty, so I'm going to tell you the story of the Richardson family murders.
Oh,
I know, right? Just to cheer you all up.
just
So
already.
I've
Yeah,
got-
okay.
Yeah. I've got two sources. One is talkmurder.com and one is crimeslab.com. And I've just done a little bit of cutting and pasting to make up a story that hopefully flows nicely for us. But really, it's all their words. So the gold is hopefully going to come from the carry-on that you two deliver. That is a challenge. You can choose to accept or
From the digressions, yes.
Yeah,
I digress.
challenge accepted. Don't worry.
Absolutely.
As always.
I'm glad. Mark Richardson and his family moved to Medicine Hat, and that's near Calgary. And all of their neighbours consider them quiet, loving, and normal family. Of those neighbours, Phyllis and Vernon describe both Mark and Deborah Richardson as full of life and knew that owning their own home instead of renting was a lifelong dream of the hardworking parents. A former neighbour, Bob Groden, said about the family, "They were the family we all wished we had. Deborah was the cement who built a pleasant, happy home, and Mark's only plan in life was to do right by his family." Bob said he lived vicariously through the parents and really admired their devotion to family. Mark had been recently promoted to his electrical engineering job for Encanacor, where he worked as an instrumentation technician. I'm not really sure what that is, but I assume it involves instruments and technology of some kind. So a new promotion meant more money for him and for the family, which meant they could finally take a well-deserved vacation. So for Mark and Deborah, things hadn't always been going well. Before they met, they were both struggling heavily with hard drugs. However, fortunately, they found each other, meeting for the first time in an addiction recovery program, getting married soon after.
Must be love, love. It's such a nice place to meet. What a romantic story. Yeah. You know,
Yes.
I often, when people say, "Where'd you meet Tony?" and I say, "Well, I was out in the laneway outside of a, bar in Melbourne having a dart," and I thought that was pretty unromantic, but you've just topped it. Thank you.
Yeah, nice.
It does sound like the beginning of a movie, though, really, don't you think? Two, sort of broken souls, but they just happen to be incredibly good looking, but a bit rough around the edges, but they're going to get better looking, as the movie goes on. Yeah.
That's right, yes.
They'll blossom and become better looking with their love. Yeah.
So before they were murdered, they'd been happily married for 15 years.
Well, that's a pretty good stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were doing really, really well. So it was the 6-year-old neighbour boy who first saw the bloody and mutilated bodies through the basement window of their Cameron Road home. Inside the home were 3 deceased bodies: that of the father Mark, his wife Deborah, and their 8-year-old son Jacob.
Oh,
I was just about to ask if they had any kids.
Yeah.
Right.
So that escalated quite quickly. Apologies for that. It's like a scare picket. So the police arrived at the scene promptly at 1:34 p.m. Neighbours and onlookers had already formed when the detectives kicked down the front door and entered the murder scene. One police officer heard a faint whimpering, which turned out to be the family dog lying next to the dead body of Deborah Richardson. Doesn't that just pull at your heartstrings?
It does. Although you say that in a way that sounds not,
The dog wasn't menacing.
No, but the way you said it was like, doesn't that pull at your heartstrings? Sort of sarcastic. I'm like, what? What happened?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't mean it like that.
The dog didn't kill them, did it?
Because,
it's not a Cujo.
Yeah, no. Yes, it's not.
All right,
it's
all right.
not. No.
All right,
rest assured. No, my pull at the heartstrings was very genuine.
Okay, cool.
Despite the sarcastic tones that you may have heard. So Deborah's position was unnatural, according to detectives. The police found her body naked from the waist down, her blue nightie hiked up with a clear and visible sign of smeared blood covering her legs. Detectives surmised Deborah was murdered first after she surprised the intruder downstairs. A struggle took place, according to Deborah's defensive wounds, but ultimately she was overpowered and repeatedly stabbed with a knife.
Oh, God.
Mark was the second to be murdered in the home. So
Was
Mark's
she raped
arms
as well?
I would assume that she But that's
Oh.
weird. Like,
Yeah,
what is that? How
no.
she surprised them by lifting her skirt up? I mean, what, you said that before. You said she surprised the intruder, but woo!
It's another Benny Hill moment.
When you said that, that's exactly what I thought. I thought, no, don't say that, Carla. It's inappropriate. Let's just see where this goes. And then I was like, you're about to say that she was raped.
Right,
And then
yeah.
you didn't. And then I was like, well, why is the skirt up around her? Did she do that herself?
It is odd. All right. Okay.
Maybe the killer just wanted a sneak peek.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So Mark was the second to be murdered in the home. Mark's arms were frozen and his fists were clenched tightly in an upward position, which resulted from the body transitioning through rigor mortis. Besides Mark's body was a black-handled knife, which would eventually be determined to be one of the two knives used in the murder of the Richardsons. Also beside his body was the screwdriver, which he had grabbed to defend himself against his killer. Both Mark and Deborah had defensive wounds, showing that the couple fought back, Mark nearly being victorious. As police began following the bloodstains, they could see that after Mark was murdered, the killer travelled upstairs to the 8-year-old Jacob's room. This bit gets a little bit traumatic even for me as I read it, so brace yourselves. So inside Jacob's room, police found the murdered boy lying on his right side, still in his underwear, and with a large knife gash in his throat. There was an extensive amount of blood showing that the boy bled out quickly. However, police also found his blood-soaked toys on the floor, including his prized possession, a Star Wars lightsaber, which he used to defend himself against his killer.
Oh, no. Oh.
Ooh.
Sorry about that pause. I just had to have a little drink because I have that just...
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah. Yep.
So, when detectives first entered the residence, they did not know that there were 4 family members who lived in the house. The 12-year-old Jasmine Richardson, also known as JR, was nowhere to be found. Police immediately released her photo to media outlets, thinking that Jasmine was abducted and being held captive by an intruder. Detectives visited Jasmine's school, where they opened her locker for any information of her whereabouts. What fell out of her locker was shocking.
Oh, Jasmine did it. Jeez.
Jasmine's drawing showed a 12-panel cartoon strip laying out a murder plot of her entire family, which even included her 8-year-old brother Jacob. The illustration shows 2 stick figures pouring gasoline into a water sprinkler. The other 3 figures are unaware that they are about to be lit on fire. And then there's captions that say things like, There's things that say things like, oh no, we're covered in gasoline. I'm being burnt alive. Help, my flesh is being burned off. The unimaginable pain. The illustration continues. Clearly, Jasmine Richardson had been planning to kill her family months before the actual murder took place.
Did you say she was 12?
Yeah.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, let me tell you a little bit about Jasmine.
Please do.
So, Jasmine Richardson was never unfairly treated or abused by her parents and was even given opportunities that many children would never get. One friend describes Jasmine saying, JR was an understanding, decent, outgoing, absolutely amazing person, while another friend corroborates those traits. When I met JR in grade 6, she was kind and gentle and made an effort to befriend me and made me feel welcome. Jasmine's mother, Deborah, had been practicing Reiki for several years, which could have piqued her daughter's interest in the subject, which led to her embracing Wicca. At 11, Deborah's sweet daughter...
Is that a bit of a stretch?
100%.
Is it a bit of a stretch to go from Reiki to Wicca?
I think so, yes. 100%, yes. Are we happy that everyone knows what Wicca is, or do you want me to give you a little...
I don't know. I was wondering if it sounded like it was a Cert 1, or I don't know where you'd put it on the scale, Wicca. How do you describe it?
It's probably a certificate 3. It's just a different theological system.
Set of beliefs.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a description of it to help you work through it.
Tell us.
Yep.
So Wicca is a modern earth-centered religion with roots in the ancient practices of our shamanistic ancestors. So it must be Cert 3, or at least be somewhere around there, I'm assuming.
Or it's an elective. Yeah.
It could be an elective as part of the Set 3 show.
Oh, I'm majoring in Wicca. Okay.
That's right. So it's practitioners who call themselves Wiccans honour the life-giving and life-sustaining powers of nature through ritual worship and a commitment to living in balance with the earth.
Where did you get that definition from?
Google. Where I get everything from. I don't know anything. Wicca is technically classified as one of many pagan religions, though not all Wiccans would identify as pagans, and plenty who identify as pagans are not Wiccans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I would have not
wouldn't have
gone
known
the
the difference.
shamanistic bit. I would have gone pagan first. But
Same
yeah,
here,
okay.
but
That's why I
don't
asked
know
about the
why there would
definition.
be a definition between the two.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully now we all have a clearer picture of Wicca.
I kind of understand. Do I need to know what the distinction is between paganism and Wiccan? I don't think I understand.
And not to be confused
not
with
need
the
to.
Wicker Man, which
Ugh.
is, of course...
That haunted me from a childhood, and I never even saw it. I only saw the video cover.
But that is, I think they are pagans on the island who build the Wicker Man.
What is the Wicker Man? Is that a horror movie? Or
Are you
something?
kidding me?
Yes.
You don't know what the Wicker Man is? All right, the Wicker Man's
Every
about...
single time we discuss pop culture, I fail.
Oh, I can't remember. I think it might be Edward Woodward's in it, maybe. And they did a remake with Nicolas Cage, but basically...
It would be better if it was Ed Wicker rather than Edward Woodward.
The English policeman goes to somewhere, like the Orkneys or some island
That's right.
in bumfuck nowhere. And the people there are a bit weird. And in the end, they build this giant wicker human effigy and they put him in it and they set it on fire and they kill him.
Is it a horror movie
It was
or just a...
It was from the 80s.
suspense?
I
And
would
I
say
know
a
that.
psychological thriller and then it ends
Yes.
being pretty horrible. But probably more a psychological
right.
thriller, yeah.
We watched it on VHS and we had hired it from Angus and Robertson.
Oh my God.
That's
I didn't
when
even know
we got
Angus and Robertson hired things. Anyway.
I didn't know
That was
that.
before
It's a
mainstream
bookshop.
video.
No.
Before mainstream video shops, my dad used to collect or get a video, and he'd bring it home as he'd come through the city past Angus Robertson, bring it home, and it used to sit there. It wasn't for me to watch, obviously, and I'd look at the covers, the cover art, and I'd turn it over and read the thing. It was terrifying. I think I might have seen the end, or I've seen part of it as an adult, but. It really
I think
stuck
I've
with me
only
as a
seen
child.
bits of it. Yeah, same.
It scared me then.
Jesus.
It was just
Yeah, because
really,
they go around wearing
subtle, actually.
they go around wearing funny pagan masks and stuff. It's
Yeah.
just really menacing. Anyway,
Yeah,
not Wicca, not to be confused with the Wicker Man.
correct.
Yes,
Point
correct.
made.
Thank you for that
Thank you.
digression into...
Sorry, Clarky.
untrue
You know-
crazy shit. No, it's,
You know
it's
when
good. I wanted...
I'm sorry, but when it comes to the occult, I'm your gal.
And when it comes to making soap, when it comes to a whole lot of things,
I'm
know
your
stuff.
gal.
Yes. But I'm very happy with the digression because, it's nice to have a little bit of fiction before we go back to the non-fiction.
It's quite heavy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, at 11, Deborah's sweet daughter JR adopted a unique look and personality. A stark difference to the smiling and happy little girl in the family photos. Now Jasmine was dressing in all black, wearing eyeliner, a dog collar, short
She went
skirts,
goth.
chains, and watching movies such as Edward Scissorhands and Natural Born Killers.
And the Wicker Man.
Well,
Right.
it doesn't state that, but I'm very comfortable to put that in the same category as the others.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, she did watch Natural Born Killers the night before her parents were killed.
Oh,
Oh.
my God.
I've never watched that movie, but, I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Same.
So she started hanging out with other men and becoming sexually active.
At 12
Well, really at 11.
or 11. Oh,
Yeah.
And we know there was nothing in the family, but was there some other catalyst? Like, was she abused by someone? Do we know if there was some other
She
thing
was
that
not. She was
she
not,
just
no.
changed overnight?
did she
Uh-huh.
have a
Yep.
friend or was someone who was perhaps leading the
However,
way?
There was no catalyst as such, but
An influence, perhaps?
yeah, I'll tell you about it. The friend that she met. So, bearing in mind
Okay.
she's becoming sexually active now, I think we can see that this is going to go somewhere. The 11-year-old girl.
Sandy Swan wants to know who's the bad seed, who's the bad element, who's leading this.
Well,
Yes.
Yes.
we can get no. I'll hold that off and let you decide.
okay.
But because
Okay.
we're going to have a serious conversation about some of the things that happen through this because it's messed up.
Okay.
So Mark and Deborah started enforcing tougher restrictions on JR, such as no internet, no phone, and no hanging out with friends. Slowly, the thought developed in the 12-year-old's mind that she needed freedom away from her parents. And the only way to get that freedom was to kill her entire family. I'm not coming at that.
Some people just run away, or some people seek a.
Yeah.
What do they call it when you divorce your parents? Something
Divorcing your
separate.
parents?
An annulment?
No, there's a term
Oh,
for
what
it.
is that called? Drew Barrymore did it.
Drew Barrymoreism.
Yeah, a Drew Barrymoreism. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are ways outside of murder. Just saying.
Yes, so I'm not coming at the. She decided the only way to get that for her entire family. I feel like she could have given it a little bit more thought in a less angry manner and found another way. Anyway, so on August 27th, 2005, so while she was still 11, she joined mindviz.com. Don't know what that is, but bear with me. And also created an account on MySpace, which no longer exists, as we all know. Following that, she joined vampirefreaks.com.
Oh,
Now, that sounds
that-
like you shouldn't
yeah.
be...
that website.
Yeah. It sounds like you shouldn't be under 18 to join that. So I don't think they had a very good process in place to check the ages of their members. And her name there was X Killer Kitty X. So just really Killer Kitty with an X on either side. She also joined Zorpia.com under the name of Runaway Devil. I feel like if she had have been a runaway devil, she could have run away without murdering her family, and that would have been fine. But anyway. So the alias of Runaway Devil would ultimately stick to her main identity thanks to the media's coverage of the murders. So on her profile, she described herself as bisexual, Wiccan, nocturnal, awkward, a deep thinker, and insane.
And a psycho killer. Yeah, well, she got that right.
I don't mind, a bit of cooking. And like if I get, some garlic and some chili and some ginger and put a bit of lemongrass in it and, all that sort of stuff and put it in a bit of broth and mix it up, I know it's going to be amazing. I feel like if I get bisexual, Wiccan, nocturnal, awkward, a deep thinker, insane, mix all of that up together, it's not going to be nice, is it? I wouldn't taste that soup.
Yeah.
It's a lot for
Anyway.
an 11-year-old.
It is, isn't
It's
it?
an awful lot
I
for
kind
an
of think if I was
11-year-old.
looking, I'd think, oh, love. I think you've just tried a little bit too hard there. I don't think you're all of those. I think you've gone, oh, what will be really cool and sexy and a bit scary. I feel like she's just, I would have underestimated her at that point and gone, oh, darling, I think you just try a little bit too hard. She proves me wrong, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
I would have
it does
said
seem
that
a
the
bit-
one that stood out there was awkward because, I'm sure you're, being 11, 12, you're going to be awkward. All the others, but no. So Jasmine's hobbies were listed as dark poetry, criminal psychology, blood, kinky shit, and human anatomy.
Kinky shit. And you said
Kinky
dark poetry, but at first I thought you said duck poetry, and I thought that is very niche. Just poetry about
that
ducks.
is. Yes, that is. I wonder if there even are
Quack,
many poets.
quack, quack.
Yes.
Oh, I can't even.
Wow.
Waddle.
Why did the
then-
duck cross the road?
Quack. Dark poetry.
Oh, I feel like you've gone to some slam poetry thing recently. With that quack at the end. Sorry.
I do enjoy watching that because I always think, oh, far out. Where do those kids get that sass from? Sass.
So I always think there's too much talk of vaginas. But anyway, sorry, Paul.
Again, I'm interested as whether or not they were tick boxes or she came up with them herself. Well, we don't know that, but it sounds like there were boxes that was like, what are you into?
And
And she
weren't
went,
tick boxes.
I reckon they were. If you think of a website like that, I don't reckon she just came up with them herself. She's like,
Choose the categories. Just categories of interest.
Oh, kinky shit! I love that.
Yeah, and you can only choose 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Because it escalates quite
That makes
quickly.
more
Dark
sense,
poetry, criminal psychology, blood, kinky shit, and human anatomy. Like, those last few, nothing's good's going to come from that. Dark poetry, I can kind of go, yeah, righto.
Oh, I disagree. I think the last couple in isolation,
all
she could be a
related.
surgeon, she could be a doctor, blood and human anatomy. I mean, my niece who's a doctor to me, I think she might be interested in those things. You know, maybe she'd be a hematologist or something. I just think when we put them together, we have an issue.
Even criminal psychology, she could have wanted to be a coroner or a forensic scientist.
Correct.
But yes, the
we shouldn't underestimate
kinky
her.
shit throws it. But you've seen NCIS where the girl dresses as a goth and she's a forensic pathologist.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's not that odd.
Yeah, no, but it's the kinky shit that gets me, and it takes me back to the bloke who was shagging the dead bodies in the morgue.
Ugh.
And that's why I kind of go, you know, if you get that criminal psychology, blood, kinky shit, and human anatomy, I just feel like
it's a bad combo.
Mix them together.
It's a sliding scale, though. I mean, some people might think sucking somebody's toe is kinky shit. Do you know what I mean? Who are we to say that?
True.
We don't. Everybody's kinky shit is something different. So again, we could have looked at this as an 11-year-old and thought, it's a bit lame, really. She's proven us wrong.
I'm going to go with sucking someone's toe is kinky.
Yeah, but whatever you do, as long as you're doing it in a safe and consensual fashion, it's fine.
Yeah.
But killing your parents and your brother is not fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't have made the leap at this point.
It's not kinky shit.
I would not have made the leap
it's not
at this
kinky
point.
shit. No.
Would not have made the leap.
You can suck their toes, but you cannot murder them.
Correct.
It would be kinky and weird and unpleasant if you did suck their toes.
I was thinking of Fergie and that Texan, but anyway, I can't remember much more than that.
Oh, yes. That's exactly where I went with it.
Naomi Campbell sucked Madonna's toe or the other way around in that sex book.
Oh.
Do you remember that stupid book?
I remember the book, yeah.
Yeah, erotica.
Yeah. And there's a picture of a toe being sucked, and the toe either belongs... I think the toe belonged to Naomi Campbell. Anyway, I digress. You've got me thinking about toe sucking.
Sorry.
And dark poetry. Anyway.
Duck poetry.
So it was on social media where Jasmine would eventually form a connection to a 23-year-old high school dropout named Jeremy Allen Steinke.
Stinky.
See, I knew you would go there. That's why I had to pause. That was actually his nickname at the school, and we'll come to that soon.
Okay.
So Jeremy was also
on
goth
the
and
money
referred to
yet
himself
again.
as... Yep, absolutely. You are all over this shit. So Jeremy was also goth and referred to himself as Soul Eater. Well, that's nice, isn't it? Jeremy, come and meet my parents.
Oh, look, I'm partial to a bit of soul. It's a nice fish. If you prepare it properly, it's perfectly fine. That was a very English joke. Sorry, Paul.
Dover sole is beautiful, isn't it?
It's delicious, yes.
How's it, how's
like
it
French
spelled?
with butter.
S-O-L-E.
How's it? Yeah, no, we're going with S-O-U-L.
Oh, sorry. My mistake. Right. Sorry.
Is
and
that what
you can't even make that nice with a bit of garlic and butter.
I'm going to embarrass myself here slightly because perhaps I will, perhaps I won't. I've never read Harry Potter, but my children love it. Aren't Dementors soul eaters or something?
Yes, I believe they are, or something like that. I don't know. I've never read it either. I've only seen some films. Paul, are you a Harry Potter aficionado?
I'm opting out of all of this. If you guys don't know it,
that
I don't know.
move on.
I would say
we can park it.
I would say they absolutely are, but I'm not an expert in that.
Okay, all right.
So soul eater he is.
So he's a soul eater, not a soul man.
I was having exactly the same thought. He's just not a soul man. That's right.
That's it. So Jeremy was a horrible influence on Jasmine's young and developing mind. At the time, still living in his mother's trailer, he would hang out with 11 and 12-year-old girls at the local mall. Who are these people letting their 11 and 12-year-old girls hang out at the local mall?
Oh, lots of people, because, there's nothing else to do, but unsupervised. What year was this again?
No, they're supervised by the soul eater. 2005, roughly.
It's not that
So
long
not that
ago.
long ago. No.
I don't think it's okay, even in 2005.
Okay. All right.
Cyclone bait, trailer park white trash.
Oh, that's a good one. Stuart was just talking about, remember the scene from Hannibal, the follow-up to, or was
Silence
the
of the
prequel,
Lambs.
Prequel to
Silence
Silence of the Lambs, where he refers to them as tornado bait white trailer park trash, which I think is particularly nasty.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
I
It-
haven't
it's-
seen it. But,
What was
Yeah,
the first bit? Tornado bait. That's
That's
what-
tornado
I
bait, because
never
I
heard
don't
they're
that
understand
before.
it.
Oh, gosh.
What does that mean?
I do. You know how the tornadoes
tomato
rip
baked.
through
means
the-
Yeah,
that's where the-
but-
Yeah, that part
Sorry,
of
Baked,
I
yeah.
thought you said
Yeah.
baked as in
not
B-A-
tornado duck.
Yeah, exactly. I'm back on cooking.
AED.
I thought you said baked, BAKED, and I'm like, tornado baked. How does
Yeah.
that work? Right, got it. Like that's a big air fryer.
Baked.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah. A human size one.
Tornado dehydrated, maybe, or tornado soaked. I'm not really sure.
I
But
got it. Baked,
yeah,
BAIT.
so anyway.
got it. Yep.
correct, yes. So the teenage and preteen girls all looked up to him. I'm not sure if that's a reference to physical height or something.
They
but-
probably did. Both. Admired him and looked up to him because of his height.
Jasmine's parents were furious that their daughter was associating with someone so worthless as
So they
Jeremy
knew?
Steinke.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think they were
Yep.
going to know. I thought they were going to be clandestine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
but
want to
even
see a
if they
picture
knew,
of
they
the
wouldn't have
two?
expected them to murder or her to murder them. Yeah, I'd love to.
I can share a picture of them with you if you like. That's her there
Oh. She's
Lesser
pretty.
cotton socks.
with a
Yes.
gun in her hand, isn't she? And then
A
that's
whack
him.
job.
Oh.
He is not pretty.
Yeah.
He looks like he's out of...
Natural
God.
born killers.
No, I'm thinking of that English band.
Well,
Who-
so
oh,
does
God, I can't
she.
forgotten.
Yeah, but
Oh
she's
God, he
much
died
more
recently. Who's the guy who died last year? He was absolutely lovely in real life, apparently, but he looked quite scary. Firestarter, who's that?
Oh, from the Prodigy.
Firestarter.
Oh, from
Prodigy. He looks
Prodigy.
like him. Yeah,
Did he die?
Does a
yeah,
little
he
bit.
did. He does. Or to me, he did anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, he died last year, I think it was.
There is a little bit of Prodigy going on there, isn't
Yes,
there?
maybe
Yeah.
it's the look.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the way his hair or lack of hair.
And
looks.
actually, the Prodigy was pretty big in 2005, from memory.
Yeah, you might be right,
Psychosomatic,
actually.
addict,
Yeah.
insane.
That was when we
No,
were-
they were
yeah.
90s,
That's when we were
weren't
at
they?
music festivals. No,
Yes, maybe you're right there, Schmitty. Let's have a look. Maybe,
Prodigy were big in the 90s, I think.
but
Yeah.
even still
With,
by then, those were still.
Breathe and
Twisted Fire Starter.
yeah, that's
Is
it.
that Smack My Bitch Up as well?
Psychosomatic
Remember that,
addict
Schmitty?
insane.
Smack My Bitch Up. Wasn't that a
Smack
song
My-
called that?
Classic, no, classic.
Goodness.
Smack My Bitch Up, I'm sure, is a song.
It is. It's definitely a song.
Yes. Smack My Bitch.
You almost made it sound operatic.
Yeah, the vibrato in
That was
that.
from 2009. If I'm right. Hang on, the third
What
single
was?
from the album Smack My Bitch Up was also
Oh.
successful. Oh, no. I think that's...
I feel like had it been 10 years later, it would have been very unsuccessful.
Oh, I think you're right, Clarky. The Fat of the Land was a really famous album. That came out in 97. So by the time I was into it, probably was about 2005. That feels about spot on when it comes to me and music. Yes. Spot on.
It's the standard delay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, spot on. Anyway,
Okay, sorry. So he's a looker. We've
No need to
established that.
apologise. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Jeremy?
So, yeah.
so her
who
parents are
is
worried.
Yes, yes. So I'll tell you a little about Steinke. So he would ultimately be the person whom Jasmine coaxed into helping her kill her entire family. So remember we're talking about who
Two
was the
stick
mastermind
figures.
here.
Yeah. So Jasmine's the mastermind,
Yeah.
saying, but yeah, she had an accomplice, right?
Yep. So Jeremy and Jasmine started an intense romance, mostly writing dark poetry,
Oh,
which
good.
makes sense because she's
Quack.
into dark poetry, not dark poetry. Yeah.
Waddle. Waddle.
Yeah, well
Waddle.
played. Waddle.
What'll they think of next?
And talking on the phone, although sometimes JR would sneak out of her home and visit him at his mum's trailer. What's his
Okay.
mum doing?
Oh, passed
Smoking
out.
crack. There's an 11-year-old
Smoking crack,
girl
yeah,
turned up, a
smoking
12-year-old girl.
I
Yeah.
think you're right.
What else do you
Yeah.
do at trailer park?
What else do you do in a trailer park? I don't know, sing Britney songs.
Oh, Wycliffe.
So
Mama needs some loving.
So it was on one of these late night visits that Jeremy Steinke admitted to his true identity. Do you want to guess what his true identity is?
The devil.
And by true identity, I mean his fictional identity in his own head that he thinks is true that isn't really true.
Okay.
The devil?
The devil?
Bit too obvious,
No,
perhaps.
not the
Yeah.
devil.
Not Beelzebub.
Oh, well, yeah, and wasn't the lead singer of the Prodigy either. Just-
Is it
I'll
somebody
just
from
tell
a
you.
bit-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He thought his true identity was a 300-year-old reincarnated werewolf.
Oh, yes, I wouldn't have got that.
Yeah,
no,
that's
unlikely.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have taken a while. Yeah.
Even as you were saying that, I thought you were going to say a 300-year-old vampire, so I really wouldn't have got that. I was off.
Yeah. Guess again. No, guess
Oh,
again. No, guess again. He
Animal, vegetable, or mineral?
Yeah, yes.
Warm.
Do you want-
No, cold. Warmer.
Is it a book or a film?
Yeah.
How many words?
2 words.
Yeah. First
words.
syllable.
Yes. Yeah.
300-year-old werewolf.
Yeah, right.
Is werewolf 1 or 2
Reincar-
words? 1 word.
One. Reincarnated, though, you forget as well. That would be
Oh,
hard to
gosh,
act
that's a
out
real
in
mouthful.
a game
That would
of
have been
charades.
very particular to guess that correctly.
Mm. Obviously, there was nothing good that could come of this scenario with a 23-year-old jobless goth and an impressionable
With an 11-year-old.
12-year-old hell-bent on killing her parents and her little brother.
Mm.
Ugh.
Oh.
Hell bent is the right expression.
Yes.
Mm.
Goodness.
Okay.
So, sorry, I just need another wine.
Yeah.
He wore a blood-filled vial around his neck. He also had an account on the website vampirefreaks.com and enjoyed the goth lifestyle. I feel like he should have been on reincarnatedwerewolf.com, not vampirefreaks.com, but
Exactly. That threw me.
it's not my world. I don't know how it works. It's not like Trial by Wine
Isn't that
World,
sort of
which I
like a Billy
understand
Bob Thornton
completely.
and
Angelina
Jolie.
They have,
I
they
had the
a
same
little,
thought.
like,
Yes.
vial.
The blood vials. But it was their own
yes.
blood. Whose blood was he
Yeah.
carrying around?
It doesn't say.
A
Does
duck.
not say.
Quack.
It could have been a duck's Yes. A duck poet.
Duck blood. Yeah.
Reincarnated.
A duck
Yeah.
poet named Henry Lawson.
Someone
so-
Mallard, surely.
Yeah, surely Mallard. I like that. Yes.
On the website, he listed his interests as scarification.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a red flag right
We've
there,
done that
isn't
before,
it?
yes.
Covered
yeah.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That old
Pain,
chestnut.
kinky fetishes, blood,
Oh, yeah.
and razor blades.
Oh, my interests are
like
razor blades. What?
I don't think these
Yeah,
people
yeah,
understand what the word interest means.
Exactly.
I mean, I also like cutlery and
How, exactly.
you know,
How
just
Yeah.
use
interesting
it.
is a razor blade? It's not very.
Butter
Gardening,
Yeah.
bushwalking,
Yeah.
razor,
Razor
blades.
blades.
knives, knitting,
And-
razor blades,
And baking.
yeah,
Mm.
travel,
And Fabergé eggs.
working it,
And
and working
Fabergé
out.
eggs,
Yeah, and Fabergé
exactly.
eggs.
Particularly like cooking
Yes.
Dover sole. Soul eater.
One of these things is
Not like the other one. Not like the other ones. That's right.
So Jeremy described himself as a gothic individual who believes in blood, destruction, guts, gore, and greed. Am I God's champion or Satan's angel? No, you're just a fuck. I ad-libbed that bit.
You're neither.
Um,
That's right.
Yes.
You're just a moron.
like, talking about Carla, they don't understand interests.
Yeah.
Oh,
A gothic individual who believes in. So I don't think they understand beliefs either. Blood, destruction, guts,
Blood is
gore,
not something
and
you
greed.
believe in. Yeah, they're not things you believe in.
None of
as
those
such.
are beliefs.
Correct. I agree.
Look, I might be pushing the boat out a bit here, but I'm not sure that Jeremy's level of education is going to set him up to be able to fill out these forms as accurately as I'd like him to do it. As I think that
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, he's doing the best that he can, but he's just trying to be a little bit shocking, I think.
Very shortly, we'll explore his education.
Oh, there you go.
Going back to what we were saying, Paul, about them not being beliefs, there are people who don't believe that the COVID vaccine is actually a vaccine. So, maybe it is a belief. If I believe in blood, I believe it exists. I believe it's real.
But that's a little bit of that's a little bit of disbelief rather than belief, right? Yeah, there is a COVID vaccine. I just choose not to believe it.
Or
he
that it
actually
works,
believes in blood, which exists, destruction, which exists, guts, which exist, gore, which exists, and greed, which exists. Like they're not beliefs.
I just don't know that he's competent and be able to and articulate what his interests are.
Well, they're not faith.
They're
it's
just
not
words
faith.
that I recognise.
Yeah.
I can pick these words out of a lineup.
Yeah, but if he was doing, he was interested in blood art, let's say, or cooking with blood, I don't know, maybe then he would have interest.
Black
blood
pudding
in itself is exactly.
Yum.
He just feels like he needed to explore that a little bit further to help us with it.
Maybe, Carla, to your point, they're boxes he checked rather than beliefs he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, whoever set that website up needs to rethink themselves. But yeah.
Yeah, nut punch.
Absolutely nut punch.
One of his personal blogs, he posted, "We must meet in the cemetery 1 hour before the full moon is at its fullest to speak of a tragedy within the coven. Those who have not overcome the mindless rage need not attend."
Those who have not overcome the mindless rage.
What was that show
Did
with
they-
the
did he want
werewolves
them
and
to
the
overcome?
vampires? It was a trilogy.
Twilight.
Werewolf in London?
Twilight, that's
Vampires and werewolves don't have covens. Witches have covens. This guy is all over the shop.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, but he's
it's doing
23
my
in his
head in.
Tornado Bait trailer park, so,
He's
Correct.
young.
go easy
And his
on him.
audience is a 12-year-old girl.
He's trying to use his words.
Use your
Yeah,
words,
exactly.
Jeremy. Use your words.
What's the mindless rage that you've got to overcome? I don't
It's
understand.
exactly what you're going through right now, Schmitty.
The
This
mindless
carry
rage.
on that sounds like you just don't believe what it is that he's talking about.
I don't even understand what he's talking about in order to believe it.
I just think he's trying to use the word like to he knows what. Well, it's not that
It
he
just
knows.
sounds good.
Exactly. It's like little
It's-
girls.
it's
What's going to sound
Probably
outrageous?
what
and scary
JR's
and-
parents were going through.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they were going through the mindless rage.
Oh.
So anyway, let's explore Jeremy a little bit. So growing up, Jeremy Steinke was both
Rogue
heavily
scholar.
abused and bullied. Rogue scholar, yes. First rogue scholar to come from a trailer park.
From Medicine Hatch.
I
outside
love that
Calvary.
name,
So-
by the way, Medicine Hat. Oh, we didn't
It's a
react
great
to
name,
it,
isn't
but
it?
I laughed at
It's
I laughed at
good,
myself.
isn't it? Yeah. So Stinky became his nickname, Schmitty. You'll be pleased to
Oh,
hear.
good. Yes.
And he was picked on mercilessly by his peers about his alcoholic mother and his
Oh.
poor living situation.
Right, now we know what she was doing in that park then, don't we? Wasn't crack?
Yeah,
Sorry
it was
about the
wrong.
crack comment.
Well, it doesn't say it wasn't crack, but she would have
Oh,
been
okay.
drinking at the same time. I think we can
Pretty
reasonably
typical,
assume.
Most people get
There's
thirsty.
nothing that excludes crack in there.
True.
Yeah. There aren't many people who grow up. in
But
that
so we're going to
environment who
explore
don't.
because she didn't have a bad upbringing, right? He did,
Oh.
so we'll explore that.
Oh yes.
Um, So Jeremy's father left him at 2 years old. I feel like he left his mum.
Yeah. No,
Well,
just
rather
left
than
him in the park.
Because
Just left him.
Yeah.
yes, and the mother quickly replaced him with many other abusive and drunk men.
Yeah.
From Jeremy's own words about his stepfather, he had a tendency to abuse me and my siblings, physical abuse and mental abuse. He'd tie us to chairs and make us watch the other children get abused as well.
Well, he's an asshole.
One former classmate, yeah.
He needs a lot of nut punching.
Yeah, I'm not going to abuse them in isolation or privacy. I'm going to tie you to the chairs and you can all watch it happen.
That is fucked up.
It's all fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
Not even
doesn't
the Catholic
excuse.
Church would do that.
Look, lay off.
I couldn't let it go. Sorry, I just had to slip it in.
They're not the only institution that has endemic abuse in it.
One former classmate remembers Jeremy Steinke well. I remember being in grade 5 with him, and he was always late for class. I remember the teacher, finally fed up with him coming in late every morning, confronting him about it, and telling him to set his alarm clock or get his mum to set it for him. That was all it took, and he snapped. I remember him screaming at the teacher in front of all of us about how he didn't have an alarm clock and how his mum wouldn't buy him one. I remember being scared. He was that angry.
Oh, poor kid.
I actually feel for him in that space. Yeah. I reckon.
So do I. Yeah.
You know, if you're
Poor
getting
kid.
picked on and being told you need an alarm clock when your mum's alcoholic and can't get out of bed,
Yeah.
it probably has taken all his skills to get to school in the first place, even if
Agreed.
it's late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jeremy did not excel in his class, and by 15, he was an alcoholic and a cutter.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
You mean self-harmer?
Well, I don't know. I guess that's what I mean. That's just what it says.
Okay.
I feel like that's a dangerous combination because as you drink, if you then get cut, you bleed quite a
more.
lot. You're less likely to stop bleeding. It was in 2005, 1 year before the murder of Richardson's family, that Jeremy went goth. Younger girls adored him, partly because of his appearance. Guess why else?
Because he looked like the guy
Big
from
knob?
The Prodigy.
Well, that's not what it says here, but clearly, yes, that's his appearance. Two things.
He was charming.
He was
No.
good at cunnilingus.
If you're 11 or 12, why would you like an older man? Older
Because
boy?
he said he knew Justin Bieber or something. I don't know.
It made you feel
'Cause he-
special.
Because his age allowed him to drive and to buy alcohol.
Oh,
Of course.
right.
I just feel like he's the ice cream van
Pied Piper
man
of the
driving
kids, yeah.
around the trailer park.
Mr. Whippy.
Yeah, Mr. Whippy, but with a car and alcohol.
But it's sad, you know.
Of course, it's
23-year-old
sad.
who has to get his validation from a bunch of prepubescent girls who are just using him up so he can drive them around and buy booze. I mean, the poor
That's
bastard.
what I think. Yeah, correct. And
He had no hope.
like
Yeah.
he can either stay at home with his alcoholic mum or get out and
Yeah, he's terrible. And you know, like he didn't get on with anyone at school. He's not doing well in any respect. His education's poor. Yeah, he's just a real sad case, really. A bit of a victim.
Yep. A psychiatrist surmised, didn't diagnose. Steinke was born with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder because of his immaturity
possibly.
and desire to please his peer group. So if he's immature and he desires to please 11 and 12-year-old girls, he's clearly not 23 mentally, I'm assuming.
They are who he feels comfortable with intellectually, yeah.
Do you want to hear about his state of mind or what he did before he went to the Richardson home?
Okay.
Because I'm a bit of a fan of a big night out on the booze, as we all know. Shortly before driving to murder the Richardson family, Jeremy consumed a case of beer, several shots of vodka, several lines of cocaine, several
that set him
glasses
straight
of
again.
wine, and at least one ecstasy pill. I'll be fucked. I
Sounds
would
like
be
a good
dead
night,
if
doesn't
I
it?
did all of that. I wouldn't be driving a car to murder people.
I'd be broke.
And if I
all
did,
of that.
they would.
Yeah, where'd you get all my money? That's right.
That's not a cheap night out.
Imagine
Ever the
bursting through the
practical
door
one.
after all of that to kill someone, and you'd have no dexterity. You'd just trip over the coffee table and pass out.
Oh, my God. I'm surprised you
Right.
could
You
see
got all
straight.
those things in the vending machine at the caravan park.
Do we know, was that the order of things? Was that the order of what he consumed?
No,
just a
no,
list
that
of
was
it?
just stuff he'd consumed. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say over what time frame.
I don't know a great deal about these things, but I have seen that film with Denzel Washington, who was pretty much an alcoholic pilot, and the plane crashes, but he saves everyone, and then he's in trouble. And he takes a lot of cocaine to straighten up. So that's why I'm wondering about the order of things. So he's drunk all this booze and he's had the ecstasy, but if he had the coke at the end, I don't really know much about cocaine, but I believe that it can kind of give you the effect of straightening you out.
I don't know either. I don't even know if people who take cocaine would consume that much alcohol.
I don't know.
Because there's a lot of mind-altering going on.
They do different things. One's a depressant, isn't it? One's a... What's the other thing called? Opposite of
I suppose it makes you euphoric.
Upper.
Yeah, an upper,
Yes, but there's a upper, you know.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm after?
Uppers and downers, is it?
Is it?
That's going to bug me. I don't know why.
Is it though?
Is it that you're taking all the uppers and downers in the caravan park?
From Billy Burger.
You've bled the whole vending machine dry.
Stimulant. That's the word I'm after.
Well done. There we go.
So you're saying
yes.
one is like depressing you, or bringing down your
Relaxing.
ability to be able to cope, and the other one is stimulating you.
But that's why I'm wondering whether or not one nullifies the other, and that's why by the time he goes to kill people, he was a bit more straight.
Look, if he'd been an alcoholic since he was 15, I think it's fair to say he could probably operate. Yeah, he can operate.
Yeah.
On some level. I mean, I'd be in a pool of my own vomit, but
true.
Each their
Me
own.
too. Yeah, I'd be looking for the nearest bathroom with tiles. Oh, it's so cool in here. It's so cool. I've got to lie. That's right.
I'm going to get flat.
Oh, I'm so hot.
Oh, God.
Stuart.
Don't mind
Stuart,
me.
can you get me a wet towel, Stuart? Can you get me some water? And Stuart, as Stuart has experienced before.
Stuart's always there.
There will be
Sorry
no
about the curry
ice
plant.
after you've had all of those things.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I meant frozen.
I
Don't go
reckon
into that.
Wangaratta would even cut you off from that.
Just goes to show how I don't think about hardcore drugs. I meant frozen water. Anyway, we digress. So he got very, very wired up, and then he went round and did the dirty deed. Yeah.
So, in his own words, he was off like a rocket when he arrived at the Richardson home. Jesus. Wearing a black neoprene face mask, it's going to get a little bit ugly here too again. So, just brace yourselves or something. Wearing a black neoprene face mask, a black fishnet arm stockings,
I'm going to put my
a leather
seatbelt on.
wristband, a neck bandana, and eyeliner, because that's perfect murder wear, right?
Hang on, I'm just braced.
Jeremy
I'm
snuck
just
in the house.
putting my seatbelt on. There you go. Right, I'm braced.
Oh,
Yep.
yes, perfect. Well played.
Snuck in the house.
You idiot. Yep, so do you want me to start that again?
No.
I feel like I got distracted.
Eyeliner.
I don't know if you did.
Eyeliner. Snuck in the house.
Yeah. What else was he wearing?
Black neoprene mask.
Fishnets on his arms.
Yep.
Stockings.
Yes.
Leather cuffs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leather wristband, yes.
Leather wristbands.
And a neck bandana. You nailed it. Well done.
I was trying to come up with something funny, like I was going to say that he had like a 3-tiered skirt on. Or
A tutu. And a tutu.
If you put a 3-tiered skirt on with that, it would make it very 80s, and it was kind of like, I don't know, make it a bit more Valley Girl.
I know
exactly.
you miss me. I know you miss
make
me.
It, some fishnet
Madonna. Did he have fingerless
gloves?
gloves?
Did he have a lace?
Or lace gloves?
Did he have a big bit of lace in his hair? Some lace in his hair?
Yeah. That's the look he was going for.
I don't know if he thought he was going in a
goodness.
fancy dress as a pop star from the 80s, but that's what it sounds like to me.
It does, yes.
His version of goth is.
Madonna's were white fishnets.
Maybe that's how we got into the house.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, it's Cyndi Lauper here.
Lauper here.
Although she doesn't have an English
More
accent.
like Madonna.
No.
Yeah.
She's American.
Yeah.
Hi, it's
Queens,
Cyndi Lauper.
darling.
It's Cyndi Lauper. I can't do it. Anyway.
It's Debbie Gibson.
Debbie Gibson.
Darl, I think Debbie Gibson's at the door. I don't know what she wants.
Imagine getting
She wants to see it.
Imagine getting murdered by Debbie Gibson
Debbie Gibson.
singing
I
"Lost
did not-
in Your Eyes."
Oh God. I
Goodness.
don't know much more to add to that. I don't know what to say about Debbie Gibson. She just seemed to be the sort of character. Anyway,
She
you were
came out of
saying,
nowhere.
Clarky, sorry. Yes, she did. Sorry, I apologise,
Yes.
everybody.
So he snuck into the house and was immediately confronted downstairs by Deborah and started stabbing.
Ugh.
Yeah, nice. So after that was all done, I'm not going to go into the details of that. Mark surprised Jeremy when he barreled down the stairs wielding a screwdriver, and according to his own words, as in Jeremy's own words, not Mark's, because Mark wasn't there to
Mark's
talk about it,
dead,
just in case you got confused. He came at me real fast. I was scared shitless. I thought I was going down.
Ugh.
I went to back up and I tripped and fell, and he jumped on me and attempted to stab me in the chest. He grabbed my face and shoved his thumbs in my eye. Now that bit reminds me of how the Mountain killed the Prince of Dawn in Game of Thrones. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
No.
At what's his name's wedding?
Yeah,
I
and he
do, and it's just sad that this guy
that
didn't
little
squeeze a bit harder.
Stone.
Anyway.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the last words Mark Richardson would ever hear before his death, after asking why he was being stabbed, was, "It's what your daughter wanted."
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh,
Kicking memories down.
no,
Bloody hell.
that is the worst. Oh.
Yeah, and I don't know if that makes Jeremy worse or JR worse. Like I still feel even like Jeremy was probably just a little bit silly and said that because it's true, but
Certainly makes her JR culpable.
I think it's fair to say that these pair do not bring out the best in each other.
No.
no.
No Jerry Maguire moment here.
So the blade used. You had me at hello.
Yeah. You
You had me at razor blades.
You had me at duck. You had me at duck poetry.
Duck poetry.
Quack.
Oh, goodness. Waddle.
All right. Let's just get through it. Come on. We can do it.
The blade used to kill Mark was bent at the tip, showing that his killer hit his bone with the murder weapon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, seriously, this bit you need to brace yourself for because it's... Now that Jasmine's parents were dead, it was time to kill 8-year-old Jacob, who was upstairs cowering in his bed.
Oh, poor baby.
After a failed attempt to suffocate her little brother, saying, "Shh, go to sleep," Jasmine took the bladed knife and stuck it deep through his neck.
Oh, my God.
12-year-old killing her
Her own brother.
8-year-old brother.
Yeah. Oh.
The excess of blood led investigators to refer to the murder as a major bloodletting event. Jasmine would later claim that her little brother gargled as she pushed the knife into his neck.
Oh,
would if she's
jeepers.
if she,
Oh,
anyway, I won't talk about it.
I might pass out. You need to be careful that I don't actually pass out.
Yeah, no.
But
I tried to warn you. Have we got more wine?
I
Is
won't.
that finished? No. Are we?
oh God.
Oh, I can't go on without wine. Far out.
Here we go.
I think I need a
Thanks,
sedative.
Dale. You're the best.
I need a shiwi.
Is that alcohol or is that cocaine?
It's a means to go to the toilet while I'm stuck in this
Use
car.
one of you the UDL pairs.
No, I'll just hold on. It's all right. Oof. Right.
You broke the moment there, darling. Thank you with a bit of light relief.
Rightio.
So, can I just understand? So he's downstairs doing the job on the parents, and she's upstairs doing the brother. Is that happening at the same time? Oh no, he's gone upstairs.
He's there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's tried to defend himself with his lightsaber.
No, I mean the
No, she means Jeremy. Is Jeremy
they're
downstairs?
both upstairs. So
Right,
yeah.
they are both.
No, so they've taken the parents out because she was downstairs as well.
Oh, I didn't realise that. So they were both. Oh,
Yeah, no,
so
but
she's
just
really. I thought he may have just
loitering
done that,
around.
and then she's holding her brother upstairs.
Yeah, no.
You know.
Well,
his turn.
I'm assuming when they say he snuck in, I think she might have had something to do with the sneaking bit.
with the
You'd
front
think
door
so.
key.
Like letting him in.
Was it day or night, do we know? You did say before 1:34, but I didn't know if it was AM or PM.
It's in the morning, I think.
When the police
No,
arrived.
PM. Because I remember the little
Oh, that could have
boy
been the next
found
day
them.
anyway, yeah. Yeah, that could have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
day later. Yeah, right, yeah.
So quite horrific. So I want to now take you on a little bit of a journey as to how the trials went.
Lock them up and throw away the key.
Because this bit, like that was all a bit of a lead up to how fascinating things get. And as we talk through this, I want you to think about what the aim of our justice system is, because you've got a 12-year-old girl who's basically masterminded and
This was in Canada, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah, Canada is notoriously
Correct, yeah,
soft too. Sorry, Canada, but you know.
If we're to sit around and go, what do we want to come out of this? Do we want punishment? Do we want rehabilitation? Do we want to stop anyone else from doing this? What do we all want to see from this? Because I think that as we explore this, it's hard to understand what the end game of justice is.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll talk you through it and we can go from there. So Jasmine's trial started in June 2007. During her trial, she was known as JR because the act prevents her from being named because she's so young. So because she was under
Was she tried as
14,
a child?
I think.
Was she tried as a child or an adult?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes. Tried as a child. At her trial, she was asked why they murdered her family. She said she loved them so much and she thought it would bring them closer together. Says no one ever. Like, let's go on a holiday. That might bring us closer together. Or let's all go out and have a nice
It's a bit hard to be close
meal.
with your family when they're dead and you're not. What the? Ugh. It's just a bullshit thing to say.
Yes, agreed. She told the court she was in a zombie state while Jeremy killed her family and she could not stop him. I feel like her 8-year-old brother would dispute that.
Yeah.
Jasmine also said they did talk about killing her parents, but she meant it only as a joke.
Oh.
Jasmine's going back on her position a little here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She did
I
draw
think she'd
a
call it a
couple of
pivot.
pictures. A pivot. A backflip. That's what the media
Yes.
likes to use when it comes to politics. Oh, they're
That's true.
backflipped. Yeah.
Agreed.
So Jasmine was found guilty on 3 counts of first-degree murder
Good.
on the 9th of July 2007.
Good.
She's the youngest person ever convicted of murder in Canada. On the 8th of November 2007, she was sentenced to the maximum of...
Not much.
Have a guess.
Oh, something like 20 years.
Oh, I don't even think it'd be that much if she's
Close.
a child. What can she be? I don't know.
The Canadian maximum for life is very. I don't think they do have life. They have a very
But-
short maximum. Well,
Well,
comparative.
think about that one. If she's a child, then
Well,
it's probably
15,
even less.
15 years.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Until she's an adult.
Yeah,
I don't know.
still less.
10,
hang
10.
on. Warmer. Yes.
10 years.
Ten.
Right.
So she was sentenced to the maximum of 10 years in prison.
Yeah.
She was 14 years old at her sentencing.
When you say in prison,
However, of those...
yeah, when you say in prison,
Yeah.
is there
Yeah.
further follow-up where she goes into psychiatric care or anything like that?
Oh, no. Of those 10 years, she would serve 4 years in a psychiatric hospital and 4 years under supervised probation.
Because where would they have kept her, to be honest, if she's that young? Juvie, or what do you call it?
Psychiatric hospital and... kindergarten, I don't know.
In a
Childcare.
function.
School, yeah.
Holiday camp, yeah.
Jesus.
She's so young.
So 10 years is the maximum. 10 years in prison is the maximum.
For three...
She got 4 years.
Yeah, that's just appalling.
3, yeah. And look, even if he did the other 2, the act of what she did to her little brother, whilst he's trying to
Yeah, but there's still
defend himself
conspiracy
with
to
a
murder.
lightsaber.
Even if you don't kill someone, there's still conspiracy to murder.
What I'm saying is, even if you took those off the table,
She still
just
hardly
that
got
act
any.
of,
She hardly got
the 8-year-old with his lightsaber there trying
Poor
to
little
defend
thing.
himself against his,
own family.
like, horrendous.
Yeah.
So, She'd be 23 years old when she completed her sentence. So she's 14 years at her sentencing. So I'm assuming she's spent a bit of time in custody whilst all of this is played out. And then she's got 4 years in a psychiatric hospital and 4 years under supervised probation.
Okay. What about him?
Jeremy pleaded not guilty to the murders, although he did confess repeatedly. I'm not sure how that works. I did it, but I'm not guilty. What? Yes, he is bright.
He's a genius.
Jeremy's trial would have been in Medicine Hat, but his lawyer won the motion. Oh, here's your opportunity to joke about it again if you want to.
I'm trying to think of it. Sorry, what you were saying? What you were saying? His trial should have been in Medicine Hat. Did it end up in
But it's
like Tricorn City, or I'm working on a hat joke.
It ended up.
The capital.
Ended up on Judge Judy.
No.
Lauren,
of course, it didn't end up on Judge Judy.
Oh God, you nearly had me. I'm like, what? That's American.
Hook, line, and sinker there. Jesus.
No, I was thinking more like a top hat or a baseball cap.
But what even is Medicine
I
Hat?
know. What's a medicine hat? I don't know.
What about Milliner City?
Milliner City,
I'll go with
yes.
that one. All right. Okay, so where was it if it wasn't in Medicine Hat?
So his lawyer won the motion. The trial should be moved to Calgary. He argues that these citizens of Medicine Hat would sentence Jeremy as they knew too much of the case.
Oh, yeah. And it would have been prejudiced. Would have prejudiced the jury. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right.
Yeah. So his trial started on the 17th of November 2008, and the police testified that Jeremy tried to recruit some of his friends to help him with the murder, but they declined. And there was talk of
the other 11 and
Casey,
12-year-old
a
girls.
friend of his,
Oh, no, thanks, Jeremy.
being the one who may have driven. So remember that he was off like a rocket, so possibly not capable of driving. There was talk that Casey did the driving. Casey said that Jeremy showed no remorse and she did not know about the murders until she heard the news on the television.
Okay.
However, and this is where I really start to get confused, she cleaned the blood from the truck and did not question the knives, baseball bat, and garbage bags he had in the truck.
Guilty.
So she'd done all the cleaning of his car. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Jeremy's appearance in court was described as slumped, head down, and staring at the floor. According to sources, his appearance may seem that he tried to look remorseful.
Okay. Or he just was.
When he was...
Yeah,
exactly right. Who knows? When he was asked why he murdered the Richardson family, he said, "When you find your soulmate, you do anything for them. I did anything." So I feel fairly comfortable at this point saying that she is the mastermind.
Oh, 100%.
Glad you agree. Carla, do you reckon? Are you on board?
Well, I'd like to hear a little bit more. I mean, there's no doubt that she's, been part of the architects of this. But I mean, it was such a bad influence in the first place. I don't think that the pair could have worked without each other to a certain extent. They did sort of use one another and their sort of interests, shall we say, blood.
I don't think he would have murdered
her family
without her telling him to.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there.
Yeah, because there are plenty of people who are interested in vampires and werewolves and go on those websites and wear blood vials and all the rest of it that don't murder anyone.
Yeah, you're totally right there. Yeah, fair enough.
Billy Bob Thornton, he wears blood vials. I don't know. I'm going to say
he's certainly not been charged or convicted of murder. That's right. So we're going to go with he hasn't done one that we're aware of.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's enough evidence. So he was sentenced on the 15th of December 2008 to 3 life sentences, serving them concurrently.
That's interesting. Right.
He was 25 when he was sentenced and would be eligible for parole in 25 years.
Yeah, see, there it is.
Why?
There it is. That's the Canadian thing. Life isn't really life in Canada. I think 25 years is the maximum.
Well, also
So
it's
you get all your crimes done in one time, so you just...
but it's concurrent
that's the thing.
too.
Whereas if you'd gone out and killed another person later on, you'd get another 25 years.
Yeah.
You've got to do it all at one go.
Yeah, the three of them are not
But
consecutive.
you do them all
One
at
shot.
once.
Yeah, that's right. Just it's all down to the time. That's
the moral of the story is kill everyone you hate
at the same time.
once.
Yes.
Don't
string
it
it
out in separate instances.
I guess the only thing is when you go up for parole, you may be declined. So, you know, you could keep being declined for parole until forever.
For 50 years.
Until you die in jail.
What gets me, though, this is the bit that I constantly am challenged by, the whole notion of concurrent sentences. Like, to me, it's just nonsense. Anyway, moving right along. So his lawyers started appealing his sentencing. They claimed he was out of his mind and on drugs when he murdered Deborah, Mark, and Jacob. I feel like we can all agree after that last description.
Yeah, he was.
That he was off his rocket, which I'm assuming is also equivalent to being out of his mind.
Oh, yeah, no, he was. Yeah.
Discuss?
Oh, no, I think you're right. I think he had a case of booze, which would have, as Carla and I said, put us in the toilet. Then he had wines, and then he had some vodkas, and then he had some ecstasy, and then he had some cocaine. Was there anything else thrown in?
Quite a cocktail there.
I reckon that's about it. Your recall is excellent. Well done.
Oh, I was thinking it sounds like a good Saturday night.
Yep.
But as Carla says,
sounds like what I do on a stakeout in Alexandra.
Hardly, but very expensive. But yeah, no, I can't imagine how, as we said, how he could even function, let alone get there and kill 2/3 people. So I agree that he was out of his mind, but the whole thing was so set up for him by her that, you know, I don't feel like.
Yeah.
I feel
he
like
didn't need to have his wits about him.
Yeah, and I feel like that was set up for. That wasn't on the night she said, "Oh, hey, by the way, could you pop round and kill my family?" You know, she'd been working on that for a long time. Thus, I go back to when you showed the disturbing cartoon that fell out of her locker. There were two stick figures killing her family. So you know, this girl had been working on this with this idea of two people doing something, or this accomplice, for a year prior to it happening.
Premeditated.
Yeah, well, she's totally premeditated it, but she's obviously kept working on him. So her thing, I just joked about it once, is total bullshit. Yes. She's probably been at him, and then for whatever reason on this occasion, he took all of that. I think he took all of that for the Dutch courage to go and do it. I don't think the drugs gave him an impulse to murder.
Is that what he's saying? Because I'm a bit confused. So is he saying, after I, consumed all of these drugs and all this alcohol, something snapped and I thought, I'm going to go do that job that Jasmine's been talking about? Or
just go pay defence.
No.
Or he and Jasmine had spoken about it that day. They knew it was going to happen that night. That's what was there a time slot? Had they organised?
Yeah, no. So there's... My understanding is definitely that premeditated aspect, right? So he'd done all of that before he then went and did it. Not, I've done all of this and now I'm going to go and do it, because she was part of it. So I reckon they've worked out a date.
I would think
he asked someone to drive him.
He's just gone.
Allegedly.
And for God's sake, it's not...
That he just had a couple of...
It wasn't... That's not something they would do every Saturday night, go and have all that alcohol and all those drugs.
That's not true. They're in a trailer park and his mum's an alcoholic.
Yeah, look, he might have, as Carla said, he may have functioned at that level all the time, which then again says, if he functioned at that level all the time and didn't kill people every other weekend, it wasn't the drugs and the alcohol that made him go murder them.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he'd be functioning.
And he was an alcoholic from 15, remember, so...
He would be functioning in a way that...
He's obviously had a few big benders in his time.
And managed to avoid slaughtering a family.
So, correct. So, despite the appeals, the Canadian justice system is firm about their decision, and Jeremy will continue to serve his sentence. During his trial, his mother stood by his side and hoped that she would one day see her son outside of the prison walls. It would be unlikely, but like all mothers, she is staying positive.
Okay.
having been such a positive influence.
Like
Fair
another
enough. What a
wood, yes.
lovely lady.
Yeah. Now she's supportive.
She's good on her. Too little, too
Really?
late to us.
Yeah, correct. Like, really. Jeremy and Jasmine still have contact with each other at this time and continued writing letters and confessing their love to each other.
Jeez.
None of them had shown any remorse or expressed any guilt over the murders.
Oh my God. So it didn't
So
knock any
then
sense
we
into
could-
them and they went, that was just
We went
a
too
step
far.
too far.
Mm.
No, they're still,
Yeah.
oh God.
I think they're Romeo
correct.
and
So
Juliet.
these are two.
Lunatics.
Remember, Bonnie and Clyde. Remember, I told you that this is a mashup of two stories, right? So one of them is a little bit earlier, and it's saying that at the time of that they had expressed no remorse or guilt. The other one is now talking about Jasmine's regret. So a few years into Jasmine's sentence, she started to regret her
Jasmine's
crime.
regret. Is that the subject or the title of a piece of dark poetry? I feel like it should be. Jasmine's regret.
Duck poetry.
Dark poetry. Carry on. Come on, carry
Three
on.
little ducks went out
Yes.
one day.
They were
Over to
sorry.
Medicine Hat and far away.
Sorry.
Mother duck said quack, 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 quack. And no little ducks
Ever came back.
Came back.
Sorry.
Or is it the story of two Swedish ducks who went, one of them married someone in Ireland, the other one went to visit, and then they found themselves on a motorway one day, and one of them said, I'm going to run into this
Follow
truck.
me.
Quack. And the other one said, well, you should run into
Polo.
the
Volkswagen Polo. It was
Oh.
Polo,
Volkswagen
that's
Polo,
right.
yes.
Quack. Smack.
Yes. Also regretful. But at least that duck had a roof tile in its
Yeah.
backpack.
MacGyver.
Oh my God.
What?
Swedish MacGyver.
Yeah. How did we find these stories? Anyway, so a few years into her sentence, she started to regret her crime and responded well to the rehabilitation.
Oh.
According to her psychiatric assessment, she was diagnosed with conduct disorder and defiant disorder.
She's just a naughty little girl.
Just note to self,
I reckon.
she's not the Messiah. She's a very naughty girl.
100%.
We'll explore that shortly. In September 2011, Jasmine attends classes at Mount Royal University in Calgary, Alberta, during the last years of her sentence. In late 2011, she was released from the psychiatric hospital, and in October 2012, sources said her rehabilitation is going well. Jasmine has attended court twice a year to provide updates on her progress and has received good reviews. It is said she is a poster child for rehabilitation. Her lawyer, Catherine Biak, said Jasmine is dedicated to getting better through the process. Crown prosecutor... Oh, sorry, another fire alert. Nothing to be worried about.
Country Victoria in
welcome
summer.
welcome to Country
That's right.
Victoria. It's kind of nice.
In summer, yeah.
Exactly. Her lawyer, Catherine Biak, said Jasmine is dedicated to getting better through the process. Crown prosecutor Ramona Robbins said Jasmine has benefited from supporters and resources. I don't even know what that is.
Just sounds like
Supporters
some
and
placating.
resources.
Yeah.
Mm.
We've all benefited from that at some time. So, in 2012, Jasmine was 18 years old and is once again in the community because remember she's on supervised probation now, where she is serving her last years under supervision. In an interview with some of the residents, they said they feel scared and just want to forget the case. Some of the people that were on the jury feel that Jasmine wanted to take revenge on them and on their families. However, according to sources, I love the use of the word sources, after 10 years, it would be unlikely that she would take revenge. Excuse Okay.
That's interesting that people are scared of her.
At the age of...
Mm.
Yeah, well, she's a natural-born killer. At the age of 23 in 2016, Jasmine received parole and was released. If she remains out of trouble, the murders would be expunged from her record in 2020.
See, I don't agree with that.
Expunged.
I don't agree with having them expunged.
So
She could go for a job.
She'd follow her
exactly. She
forever.
could do whatever she likes. She could go overseas and no one would know about her criminal background. And it's not like petty theft. She murdered people.
Yep.
But it's so it is to your point earlier around what's the point of justice. So given her age, being so young, yes, the justice system would seek rehabilitation for her to try and turn her into a useful member of society, and that thus the I don't think you pay for university in Canada anyway, but like the ensuring that she's going through good education, etc. She's not just stuck in a cell and left there to rot, because it is about rehabilitating them. But I'm interested to know what's happened to Jeremy and whether or not he's had a similar level of support, or and if not, is the difference just because of her age?
Yeah, no, because he was older, so he didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
So
he would have been
So do you want to hear about how the community feels about her release?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Detective Brent was one of the detectives on the case. When he was asked about how he feels about her release, at one point, I wanted her locked up forever. I don't think I'm there now. I hope she moves on and becomes a productive member of society. I don't think she's truly evil. I met some of those people that are bad to the bone, and she's not one of them.
She's just a very naughty girl.
She got them
I wonder
fooled.
what would set her apart.
Yeah.
What did she do that was not as bad as
I know, right?
So this is where it messes me up, because I think, are we trying to make the murderer a better person, or are we punishing the murderer for the 3 murders, including her 8-year-old brother who was defending himself with a lightsaber? Like I'm super challenged by this, because of course we want her to be better given that she's surviving. But do I even want her in society? I don't know. I'm just... Sorry. What are we investing in her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
That's
a good
one. That's your brother's neck. Sorry.
It's the right response. It is the right
So
response.
sort of a sigh.
Yeah, I mean,
exhausting.
you're conflicted, because on one hand you think you're right, someone who behaves in this way and spends a year, but then if you go back to your 12-year-old self, when you don't have as much impulse control as when you're older, you probably did think, you didn't go around murdering people for sure, but you probably had some impulses to do bad things.
So
and in some cases you may have even done those.
So let's just hold
things.
off on this.
Does that mean that you don't grow out of that and can't be rehabilitated?
Yeah, so do me a favour and just hold off on this for a little bit longer. I'm going to tell you more about how the community feels, and then a little bit about the about what oppositional defiant disorder is, and then I think there's a really solid chat to be had. So some of the other neighbours and friends of the family have expressed their disgust that Jasmine is a free woman. They say if you do the crime, you should do the time, and believe she should be in jail the rest of her life. There were some residents that expressed empathy towards her. They say she deserves a second chance and that hopefully she would be an improved citizen. Mayor Ted, this is a bit challenging for me. Mayor Ted Clugston feels Jasmine deserves another chance as she was so young, but does not believe she should return to the community.
You were going to say that.
He said,
as long as she goes somewhere else.
He said the community is not the proper place. Yeah, exactly right. As long as she goes to trial by wine world, I'm fine.
As long as she's not in medicine hat, I've got no problem with her being released. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He said the community is not the proper place for her. He went on to say it was a terrible place for her and she tarnished the community and hurt a lot of people. Jeremy, who is now known as Jackson May,
Why?
was asked to comment on how he feels about Jasmine, who is released.
Is Jackson May
He
still
has
in
declined the request for an interview.
jail? Yes. Jackson May is in
Medicine
jail,
hat.
yeah?
Yes, correct.
Jackson may or may
So
not
he's
be an
declined
idiot.
But he was definitely a murderer.
But he may not want to have an interview through the Correctional Service of Canada. It is important that the community trust her again and accept her as part of them. It will take time for wounds to heal, but if she shows them she is truly remorseful and wants to make the best of her life, they will warm up to her. Hold off on that, and let's do this next little bit, because I would like to come back to that paragraph. Some of the residents of Medicine Hat blamed the Gothic lifestyle for the murders. They say if Jasmine stayed the sweet, outgoing person she was, she would never have killed her parents. Just because you decide to live a certain lifestyle does not give you the right to kill. And although it did change her personality, she was under the bad influence of a much older Jeremy. I just think that's a lot of shit.
That is.
Yeah, I don't think I buy that. I think it's the other way around. Jeremy was under her influence.
But also, there's no connection between a Gothic lifestyle and murdering your parents.
None at all.
And she didn't change from being sweet and outgoing when she became Gothic. She changed when she murdered her fucking parents. Like, Jesus.
Or when she started to plan to, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Good point.
But look at the
so a criminal
the drawings are so childlike. I mean, it's like a storyboard with like little scenes cut. I mean,
It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy.
I know, but she's a little
But-
girl.
But as an adult, if I was to draw pictures of that, I'd probably use stick figures too, because I'm
Yeah,
not
to
a
be
very
fair, I
good
would
drawer.
too. I'd probably use my words. I'd probably use describing words and say,
Yes.
"This is what I think I'm going to do." I don't think
Use
I'd
your words like a big boy
I
clone.
don't think I'd illustrate the way I was going to murder my family with
Yeah.
stick figures. I think I'd probably bother to write down what I'd plan to do. But anyway, each to their own.
Yeah. So, a criminal justice professor, Mark Totten at Humber College in Toronto, and co-author of When Children Kill, gave his professional opinion about Jasmine. He said, "We've got a young woman here who at the age of 12 was diagnosed with oppositional defiance disorder and conduct disorder. These are two very serious disorders. Forward 10 years, is it possible to change? Absolutely."
Of course.
I just want to talk to you a little bit about oppositional defiance disorder.
Please do, because I've never heard of it.
Can we? I've got to go to the toilet
And-
so badly.
Yeah.
I'm literally going to piss myself.
Go and do a shiwi in the
I'm
boot.
going to drive round to the toilet. So I'm going to put my mic on quiet and I'll drive
Okay.
us round, all right?
I love it.
Yeah, no. Go. We'll take a short break.
No, I want to watch all this. I want to watch you driving around.
You can watch.
Take your laptop into the dunny.
All right. We hope you're enjoying the show. We are a completely independent podcast and we want as many people to hear us as possible. We need your help. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Facebook at Trial by Wine, where we share our updates, and contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. We can't thank you enough for your support. Now, back to the show.
All right. So, would you like to know a little bit about oppositional defiance disorder?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
I've never heard of it.
Sounds like just being naughty.
Me neither.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I was going to make a joke about my 3 children having it, but hopefully they don't. They're going to take me out.
Well, let's. So hang on. If you've got 3 children, how many of them would you say before you know what it is have it?
All 3 of them.
Okay. Let's take a vote on that after we know what it is as well.
Yeah.
We can see
I
whether
am
we've
hoping it's going to be more
changed your
specific
mind.
than you're a naughty little girl, because otherwise that'll be very
Oh, I know.
annoying.
I'm just being silly.
I know, Dolly, but I'm just
Plenty of
saying.
naughty
Yeah,
little girls who
well.
don't murder their parents.
So let's see what it is.
Yeah.
So we're going to call it ODD. It's a childhood behavioural problem characterised by constant disobedience and hostility. Around 1 in 10 children under the age of 12 years are thought to have ODD, with boys outnumbering girls by 2 to 1. So I think, Carla, you're tracking quite well so
I'm
far.
still 3 for 3, yep.
Yep. Nothing knocks any of those out.
Yeah.
ODD is one of a group of behavioural disorders known collectively as disruptive behaviour disorders, which include conduct disorder, which she was also diagnosed with, and ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Early intervention and treatment is important since children with untreated ODD may continue to be difficult and antisocial into their adult years. This
Is
can
it
impact
normal,
on their
though?
relation.
Is it normal though?
No.
Am I
Is
bothered?
it though?
Is it
Is it that you
Is
work
it
at
though?
Billy Burger?
Is it what?
Is it normal
What's me what?
for a child who displays none of these characteristics to suddenly develop them? Because that's what happened here,
Glad
isn't
you
it?
asked.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Glad you asked.
You're welcome.
What I should say, and I probably should have prefaced this, is so we're talking about a case in Canada, and so this definition I'm giving you is from betterhealth.vic.gov.au, so clearly Victorian in Australia, nothing to do with Canada. So there could be very different definitions across those two.
There shouldn't be,
countries,
though.
but-
Should there?
Agreed, but
Yeah.
I just want to make that
Okay.
call out right now.
Is it the Canadian Health Ministry get in touch with us?
Yeah, correct. So early intervention and treatment is important since children with untreated ODD may continue to be difficult and antisocial into their adult years. She didn't make her adult years, so we don't need to worry about that. This can impact on their relationships, career prospects, and quality of life. Some children with ODD will develop the more serious conduct disorder, which is characterised by aggressive, law-breaking, and violent behaviour. So the characteristics of ODD usually surface when a child is at primary school, but the disorder can be found in children as young as 3 years of age. A child with ODD may become easily angered, annoyed, or irritated. Sounds like me.
As I say, I've got it.
Have frequent temper tantrums.
I've definitely
every
got it.
day
Yeah.
whilst I'm working.
I've got it.
Yeah, they could have frequent temper tantrums, argue frequently with adults, particularly the most familiar adults in their lives,
Shit.
such as parents.
Husband?
Refuse to obey rules. Carla, are we still 3 from 3?
I'm now looking at myself a little bit more closely. I think I might have it. No.
Are we 4 from 3?
4 for 3. We're now got another one. 4 from 3.
They may also seem to deliberately try to annoy or aggravate others.
Oh,
Have
definitely.
low self-esteem, have a low frustration threshold, seek to blame others for any accidents or bad behaviour.
This is
And this is only
very
for children.
generic. And still very much like most kids, to be honest, at some point.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
thus far that you've said that I go, okay, that's the key. Like, what's the bit that unlocks this other
Yeah.
part that is, changes from being a dickhead to,
Yeah.
cold-blooded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so remember, early intervention and treatment is important. So I think probably all children go through this, but if you're parenting, you would manage that well yourself. If you're, an alcoholic mother whose husband walked out and you've had several
That's not
partners
him.
since.
That's her. Her parents were great, remember?
Her parents were fine. She didn't display any of these
No.
characteristics.
No.
Until she-
and this is 100% agree. Yeah. What I'm saying is that if you're that parent and you don't then manage your children the way that perhaps Carla would, then things go a little bit further. But hold that thought, right? Because I am with you on that. So there is a link to conduct disorder, right? So you go from ODD to CD. So without intervention and treatment, some children with ODD progress to develop conduct disorder, CD, which is characterised by aggressive and delinquent behaviours, including lying, being sadistic or cruel to animals and people, physically or sexually abusing others,
Here we are.
law-breaking behaviours such as deliberately lighting fires, vandalism, or stealing. So there's the two, right?
So the first one is really very light on, let's be honest. It's given me nothing. Second one
Minor.
got a bad name. The branding's dreadful. I would not call that conduct disorder. I mean, that's like where you go to a bit psycho.
Yeah.
It's all in the name.
Yes.
Yeah. The
It
second
is,
one is
isn't
where
it? Yes.
the second one is where I think certainly most people would be aware if someone starts to harm animals and, you know, starts to do things that you think, oh God, that's not great. I think socially that a lot of us are aware of those kind of things, and we'd probably pick up some of those signs.
They're also front runners for psychopathic behaviour.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Correct,
Can't we just call it
yeah.
psycho disorder?
Oppositional defiance disorder sounds worse to me than conduct disorder. Like, I feel like someone spilling a beer in a pub is guilty of conduct disorder.
Oh no, purposely knocking it.
There's
spilling it on the
There's
on
nothing
the
defiant
coaster.
or oppositional about it. It's just don't fucking do it. So there's the ODD transforms into CD sometimes if not dealt with early. There's also a link with family life and ODD. So the cause of disruptive behaviour disorders is unknown, but the quality of the child's family life seemed to be an important factor in the development of ODD. Some studies have found that certain environmental factors in the family increase the risk of disruptive behaviour disorders. These include poor parenting skills such as inadequate supervision, harsh or inconsistent discipline, rejection, marital conflict, domestic violence, physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, poverty, and substance misuse by parents or carers. To me, the important thing here is that they're all things that JR didn't have, but that Jeremy did have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, the treatment of ODD, Carla, just in case you do have 3 from 3 or possibly 4 from 3.
Do tell.
Treatment options for ODD may include parental training to help the parents better manage the
no, don't worry about that one.
Better manage and interact with the child. Yeah, can't be fucked interacting with children.
Don't worry about that. Next. What else can you offer? What else can you suggest?
Is there a pill?
Yeah.
Is there just medication?
Exactly. Something off the shelf,
including
perhaps?
behavioural techniques that reinforce good behaviour and discourage bad behaviour. So remember to do that.
Okay.
This is the primary form of treatment and the most effective. Social support is increased if the parents are trained in groups with other parents who have children with ODD. Out of that, parental training to reinforce good behaviour, discourage bad behaviour. I reckon you've got that. I've heard you a couple of times when we've had little breaks in our podcast.
I can't believe that someone gets to be
This
a doctor.
is just called parenting.
I know. It's like,
this is bullshit.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know, right?
I'm calling
I
bullshit
know.
on this
Same
whole
here.
thing.
It's just like, oh God, can't work that out. Someone's like getting it doctorate over this.
Someone's naughty. Let's give it a disorder. Fucking hell.
No, but I think there's normal behaviour, and then it becomes a disorder, right? If it's not dealt with properly. So I think if you were to let it run rife, then it would become a disorder. But it's not. You know, little kids push back all the time. It's called boundary testing.
Correct.
Right? That's what I call it anyway. I don't know what the real name is.
I think you'll find your boundary testing me.
Yeah. Could you please stop boundary testing me and eat your fucking dinner?
Enough boundary
Or go to
testing.
your room.
Before I start misusing substances.
Yes, negotiation, like nightclubs, are not things I enter into anymore.
Jesus.
Hell, you've been sitting on that gem, Schmitty.
Yeah, that was well played. I like it. Other treatment options include functional family therapy, so to teach all family members to communicate and problem solve more effectively. Carla, note to self, could all go out and do this same therapy.
Oh God!
Feel like
it's
you
just
wouldn't benefit from it.
I cannot honestly imagine any of the people in this situation. Certainly like that. Let's talk about Jeremy's mother. It's not like she's going to be in a position to go and put any of this into place. And that's the problem. It's like you've got a really shitty upbringing, and it's going to keep going. That's the reality of it. You can put a name on it, but when your life is from the outset, everything's so challenging. You've got no support, and she wouldn't be capable of going and changing anything for him if that was the treatment. Do you know what I mean? It's very idealistic without really offering the person who is in the shitty situation, i.e. the kid, any real
correct.
hope.
So the other treatment option is consistency of care. So all carers of the child, including parents, grandparents, teachers, childcare workers, and so on, need to be consistent in the way they behave towards and manage the child. So this is to me, this is really.
This is just
Caroline.
parenting.
Parenting 101.
This is
No,
just
but-
parenting.
no, but-
I mean, come on.
It is. But I think that Jeremy could have been diagnosed with this given his background.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, Jeremy's
Jasmine
parents
100%
failed.
not.
That's it.
And yet, old mate has said that he thinks that she had that disorder, both of those disorders.
Old
And
mate.
Yeah, as you said earlier, observed, didn't diagnose. You know, just said,
Well, no,
let me look up my book. Oh, naughty girl. She's got this. Oh, she did something violent.
We're
She's
at
got
a
that.
different person now. So this is Mark Totten, who is the author of When Children Kill, gave his professional opinion about Jasmine. He said, we've got a young woman here who at the age of 12 was diagnosed with oppositional defiance disorder and conduct disorder. So he's actually stating she was diagnosed.
But that
Now, I
was
don't know
after
whether
she
he
killed her
diagnosed her or
parents, right?
someone else
Nothing.
did.
There was
Yeah,
nothing
she
before.
wasn't diagnosed prior because there's no evidence that she had this. She had a year of bad behaviour.
Yeah.
She was preteen.
What-
Like, it's not unusual. You
But
wouldn't,
what
you
he-
wouldn't
he-
have said she's going to kill people.
No.
You
His
know?
point was that she could change in 10 years' time. So if she was going to go through this Canadian justice system that says you've got 10 years,
Yes, they need to
Yeah,
could
she
you
was
change
an
it?
asshole for
Absolutely.
a while there.
What
No doubt about it.
my concern is that I don't think, based on the Victorian government's definition, I don't think she has cause to be justified with that, because I don't think she's had a bad family upbringing.
I don't think
I
she
don't
has
think-
these disorders. I think she's misdiagnosed.
Yeah. Well, or maybe
Oh, we
didn't have
won't
any
know
of it in the
because
first place. She was
It's all
just a little
expunged from her
fuck.
bloody thing anyway. She's probably changed her name and she's out there planning a murder somewhere else. I don't really know that.
I know, right?
Do you want to know what her new name is?
Oh, God.
Let's
I would have
guess.
thought you're not supposed to know it. Anyway,
And do you want to know where she lives?
sure, why not?
Not
She's-
medicine,
Yeah.
no?
She's currently living in a secret location under a new identity.
There you go. See, changed her name, moved out
Ah,
of town.
You were right. Yeah.
Yep.
So according to some sources, Jasmine was the instigator of the murders and had the most influence on Jeremy. Jeremy was seen as the weaker person in the relationship because of his abusive childhood and enjoyed all the love and attention Jasmine gave him.
Oh.
I just want to come back to, and this is going to be horribly wrong, but I still need to say it, because we've spoken a lot about magic pussy, and I just hope that applies to women who are over the age of 18. I don't want genetic mutations that lead to, prepubescent children having magic pussy. I just think that's wrong. So can we all agree that she didn't have
She
magic
had
pussy, or is
Wiccan
there-
pussy. No, she had Wiccan pussy.
Oh my
No, the
Lord.
whole point is I don't care about the description. Leave her pussy out of it. But don't use that as a defense.
I would have left her pussy out of it. You started it. But secondly, she started it by putting her pussy out there in the first place.
But again, what's the statute?
Oh, it's totally illegal.
Pedophilia.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's certainly illegal. It's
He's
Well, I don't know
23.
about in
She's
Canada.
11.
It's statutory rape.
statutory rape in America. I'm not sure about Canada. Anyway, it was bad
Yeah,
news
anyway.
bears. I get that. Yeah.
It was, yes, that's exactly what it was. They went on the teddy bears picnic and the bad news
Bad
bears
news bears
turned
showed
up
up. That's
and
right.
shit happened.
Oh, shit got
The
real.
last bit I'm going to tell you about before we really discuss is what is parricide and how it relates to this case. So parricide, a term which is the murder of a parent or parents, is usually carried out by men. Teenage girls are driven by their boyfriends and forbidden love. They build up anger and resentment against their loving parents, which results in murder. Jasmine's case had more press attention and public interest than all the parricide cases recorded. In a study in 2010, They raise the issue of brain development. Compared to adult brains, the prefrontal cortex is not fully developed, meaning their inhibition, emotional self-control, and risk-taking are affected. As for Jasmine, she felt a range of emotions: love, trust, jealousy, satisfaction, and fear. With all these emotions and hormonal changes that could have played part in how she behaved, this may explain why Jasmine killed her family. In Jasmine's case, she did not have an abusive childhood. She only protected what was important to her, and when threatened murder was her only option in her mind. Also, and this is an important one, when Jeremy carried out the plan and murder, she had confirmation that she did the right thing and there were justifiable reasons for doing it. So the fact that he murdered them justifies her desire to murder them.
It's because he was prepared to do it. It validated that she said it should be done.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. So she, as an underdeveloped brain, goes, that makes.
I have an idea to kill someone. An adult has just said, yeah, that's fine, I'll do it. So it must be okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Jasmine fully understands the actions she took, she has to live with it for the rest of her life. The murder against her family cannot be explained away or be reversed. So, a couple of things. To me, this is an incredible story of someone who is too young to have committed the crimes that they have committed. And then, given all of that, how do you like what's a good outcome for this? Because I just feel like it's a really, really tough one. But coming back to what Mayor Ted Clugston, it is important that the community trust her again and accept her as part of them. It will take time for wounds to heal, but if she shows them she is remorseful and wants to make the best life, they will warm up to her.
No. I think she should go somewhere else.
No, I don't think that's a thing.
Sorry, that wasn't what Mayor Ted Clugston said. That was what the author said, but yes. No. So talk to me. What do you think?
Jesus
No,
I don't
Christ.
think she needs to go back to where she was from.
No, go away.
Yeah,
Go
start
somewhere else.
new,
Change your name like
identity.
she's done.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think that's better.
It's
for
the only way
everybody
for her
involved.
to be able to function appropriately
Yeah.
and not have it hanging over her head, and also to let other people get on with their lives.
Agreed.
What's the right balance between the mum, the dad, and the little 8-year-old boy with the lightsaber who never got to progress their lives any further, and making rehabilitating Jasmine so she becomes a valuable member of society again?
Look, it all comes down to your position on whether you believe in rehabilitation or you think that the justice system should be about punishment. And I know that when we do our trial by one, as Carla put it, comedic sentencing, we tend to go punishment. We're looking to punish people because our justice systems don't. They do. It's not pleasant being in jail. And I'm sure 4 years in a psychiatric hospital wasn't pleasant for her. But the ultimate goal is to rehabilitate people into society, and if not, keep them out of the public so they're no longer a harm to people. So it's not chain gang. It's not hard labor. That's not what it's about these days. So it's all about how you feel though, because we fictionalize our own justice system. It's all about whether or not you want to go down rehabilitation or you want to punish. And it's tricky because of her age. Here's the question for you. What conversation will we be having if this was a 28-year-old woman who elicited her 45-year-old boyfriend to murder her parents and brother? We wouldn't even be having this, would we? We'd be like, aren't they terrible monsters?
Yeah.
It's all about the fact that she was 12.
Forever.
Yeah. It's about the fact that she was a child, and therefore, how responsible do you hold her for her actions as a child?
But also, she murdered her 8-year-old brother. Yeah. I just think, and I feel like, given what's happened, if she becomes a contributing member to society, that's a win. Given what's happened, yet do I actually want to forgive her that, and do I actually want her to be a contributing member of society. I feel like there's a whole lot of, you know what, I just don't care. And I want a message to be sent to everybody else that if you do this, we don't want to rehabilitate you. We don't want you becoming a valuable member of society. I don't know. I find it, I'm really torn by it, because once it's done, of course, the best outcome is that she then becomes rehabilitated. But I don't know. What about the justice for the mum and the dad and the poor little boy? It's justice versus rehabilitation, and I can't get my head around this. It's that difficult.
I'm left wanting I don't even feel like the diagnosis or was for why she did it doesn't seem to add up to me. I just still feel like we've covered other stories where people have, done less or done the same, and there's a clear, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not convinced that the way she's been diagnosed is sufficient. I think to go and kill somebody and to kill your little brother and murder them that way, it's so horrendous. And having children of my own, my kids would know what's right and wrong. And then she wasn't the one who was affected by substances or whatever else. She was just, I don't know, maniacal. I don't know how to deal with it, to be honest. I really don't. And I keep thinking, she was obviously well beyond her age in terms of what she was doing. So just trying to park him for a moment and deal with her, that I find it very challenging. I'm not satisfied.
They could have killed the parents and not the brother, right? They could have. If the issue was that the parents were saying no to the boyfriend,
yeah. Why did the little boy have to be
doing any of that? So I think I agree with you, and I also think the diagnosis, to me, when I compared the Canadian diagnosis to the Victorian definition, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I won't have it.
I'm just going to pause it for a sec, just so that Schmitty, what's she doing? Is she back at the houseboat?
I think she's got her clothes off at this point. All I can see is some caftan moving around.
It's some tits and ass.
She's copping a squat.
I think she's pleasuring herself in the car.
Yes, that makes sense.
She can hear me.
You're terrible, Muriel.
What is she doing? She's setting up somewhere. Where is she?
She's in a hotel.
Someone said to her that they can use her power, I think.
No, surely not.
Yes, you can run a power cord into my house.
Oh my God, what is going on?
Sure, ma'am.
Look, she's got shit hanging up everywhere. She's in the public dunny.
Is she in a public toilet? She might be.
She's found a PowerPoint.
I am indeed in a public toilet.
She's in a public toilet with a PowerPoint. Well done.
I found a PowerPoint, yes.
Just a bit.
I've got a bit of an echo though.
Oh, we've lost her.
Be
No
proud of my
signal.
ingenuity.
Oh my God. Is that podcast on tour? Oh my God.
I cannot believe that
Podcast on
Schmitty is
tour.
going to be broadcasting from a public toilet with a PowerPoint.
With a massive
That's
echo.
commitment.
But now she's got no signal. She needs to put up one of those umbrella, what do you call them? Umbrella signal getter.
No.
Satellite dish.
Satellite,
dish,
yes,
that's what I'm
umbrella
thinking.
signal giver, also known
Yeah.
as.
Signal getter.
Signal getter.
Very technical, aren't I?
Is signal getter related to David Getter?
David Getter.
Possibly.
I'm feeling very frazzled and I don't know what I'm going to do for this sentence. It's freaked me out totally by this child murderess.
I reckon just go harsh.
I found it really challenging.
It is.
Like
I don't even know what to say because I'm not happy with anything that's been presented. They feel like they've gone, light. She's got what's the CD? What does it stand for again? Convergent behaviour, was it?
Conduct disorder.
Oh, conduct disorder. I mean, that just sounds so piss weak to me.
It's like trying to wear thongs into a club,
Yeah,
the correct conduct in this situation is not to wear thongs.
See, that sort of stuff's really bugging me. It's like, that doesn't feel... I think she's been misdiagnosed. That's not severe enough.
So just for our listeners, I just want to reconfirm that Schmitty is actually broadcasting from a public toilet that does
I'm here. I'm in a toilet. I found a PowerPoint
Gosh,
because I
you'd
was
never
running
know
out
the
of
sound
battery.
effect. You've done a very convincing job.
You sound like
public
God.
toilet.
This is perfect. You can deal out God's retribution with the right sound effects.
Oh, someone called Lynn has just sent me a message saying, Caroline, do you still need help?
No, I'm not in a
No,
public
Lynn,
toilet.
I've solved it for myself.
No thanks,
I'm in
Lynn.
the
I'm
toilet
broadcasting
down near the
from a
radio
public
station.
toilet with a...
Lynn, I'm in the public toilet.
But I've got to
Hi,
say,
Lynn,
Lynn,
can
if
you
you ever
listen
listen
to
to
this?
our podcast, I appreciate
Thanks,
you
darling.
trying to help me. I just picked your
That's very
message up
nice.
too late. Thank
You
you.
should...
Um,
Can you please send her a link to our podcast just so she knows what
Somebody
she could
get
have
that woman a
contributed
drink. And by woman, I mean you, Schmitty. Have you a drink, darling? Can you have a little...
to. Oh, don't.
Oh, keep away from the toilet bowl.
I just sent her a photo. I just sent her a photo of the laptop sitting on top of the hand dryer in the toilets.
All good, Lynn. All good.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks, Lynn.
You,
Love your work.
You've messaged me post-crime, not pre-crime.
Because that'd be
Minority Report.
Minority Report pre-crime.
Exactly. All right, so...
Have found emergency power in toilet. Okay, because I'm very echoey and sound like God, I will tell you what I was going to sentence these people to. I'm just moving the mic back because...
Well, so, Schmitty, can you give us God's view on whether the justice system should actually be seeking justice for the death of the mum and dad and the boy, or whether they should be trying to rehabilitate Jasmine? Because I feel like we've been lost in this a little bit. What would God say in this instance?
Well,
On his throne?
obviously I'm...
Or on her
obviously I'm
throne,
not
as I should say.
representative. Not or he, she, them, whatever. I'm not representative of God, but a Christian view would be that forgiveness is the most important thing. So we should be forgiving of Jasmine.
Yeah. JR.
And
Yep, Jasmine.
JR and Jeremy. We should turn the other cheek and get out your other lightsaber, because that's the Christian way to do it, is to not judge and
The
to
lightsaber of
forgive.
healing
It's
as
very-
opposed to the lightsaber
Now, see-
of cauterizing.
This is the reason. This is the reason that it's difficult to live by those values sometimes, though, because it's very hard to forgive someone who's done something so heinous, and that's what
Heinous.
makes being
Did.
true
Yeah.
Christian, being a true Christian, actually very difficult in our world. And that is a challenge for Christians. And I'm not actually a big God botherer, but Clarky likes to set me up like I am. But
No, you just bite every time I do.
that, well, that's because you insult my faith, and so sometimes I have to.
You are like the god of trial by wine, so I feel like you should just speak confidently and from the heart.
Yeah, but it's not like I go around making comments that would offend you on things that are important.
100%
to you.
never do.
Anyway.
I must make that very clear. But we never ever have religious discussions other than on trial by wine. Just because I think it's
I
fun.
don't know if that's true, but anyway. So
right.
I'm going to go back to not God's view. This is Schmitty's view. I'm going to go back to the things that were really important to both of them, and they were really interested in, like razor blades and Wicca and blood and gore and pain.
And duck poetry.
And duck poetry. And I think I'm going to let them revel in those things by using razor blades and creating blood and gore. So I'm down the punishment line. I find it really hard, like you do, to say a person, even though I understand it's a developing brain, can grow out of or move away from whatever it was that the impulse that drove her to influence this guy. It wasn't a 5-minute thing, it was for a year, so I think and I know she's had a lot of treatment, etc., but in my fictitious world, I'm building a big wicker man and I'm putting them both in it and I'm just lighting her up.
Oh,
Right. So you're going justice as opposed to rehabilitation?
I'm going justice, because I think one of the things that we do on this is about the justice element, because we often feel a bit ripped off by the real justice system, which is probably highly appropriate because of all the ethical things that we talk about, and that's why we are not actually in any form. And by the way, if we ever get called to jury duty, we're definitely not going to get selected. Not if anyone listens to any of this.
Not
So,
unless
thank God.
they serve wine to the jury, in which case.
I think we've
I've already...
totally got
Totes
ourselves
well.
off the hook. But yeah, so therefore that's probably why I do lean towards more punishment than as a means of justice than just saying put them in jail, because put them in jail seems very ordinary and banal and where we are already. But anyway, over to you two.
I find this really hard. You know, I say that all the time. I know I find it really difficult all the time, but having heard
That's what we love about you, though, that you really struggle with your role as
a juror.
As sentencer.
Yes, I can be a bit of a light touch. It's fair to say. Schmitty, you
No, you're just an emotional being.
What I really struggle with is trying to work out if a child that I knew, say one of my own, let's say, knowing their ages and what this girl has done at that age, and how aware of themselves my kids already are, and what's right and what's wrong and what's really wrong and what's really just outrageously horrendous, heinous. I don't think that the girl's I don't think she was diagnosed correctly. I just don't think that that's what someone who was struggling with being a young person and, you know, coming to grips with, you know, who they were would do. I just don't think that that's what's right. I think she probably has something quite more severe in terms of a diagnosis, but that doesn't really help us in terms of a trial. But Schmitty was saying that, you know, do we focus on rehabilitation? And I would have to say that I wasn't thinking that, but maybe I need to do that because otherwise I just can't deal with it anyway. So from my own point of view, maybe I do need to be a bit more forgiving in the sense that, you know, go down a rehabilitation route for Jasmine, because otherwise, you know, no one's going to win. She's just going to rot in jail. And where's the upside of that for anybody? I feel crap even saying it. So there you go.
What would rehabilitation look like for you? Similar to the 4 years in the psychiatric and then the 4 years of supervised.
Maybe a little bit more severe, maybe a little bit more like really ongoing, where she would be with, you know, she would live within a situation, a community of people who could keep her safe, keep her being rehabilitated, but without going into like the wider community. I don't know that I'd want to back out there. I don't know. It's so hard to think of a 12-year-old versus a 22-year-old in normal development terms, let alone with this sort of overlaid. So I appreciate I'm not making a great deal of sense because I just don't think I know how to sentence it, to be perfectly honest. I find it really challenging.
Yeah, no, it's conflicting, right? It's
very
horrible.
Hard. Yeah. What about you, Clarky?
Schmindy, are you still with us on your Alexandra throne?
Sorry.
On the God line?
I'm here. I'm standing outside the toilets. I'm not actually. Well, I'm not in a cubicle. Put it that way. Anyway.
Well, it looks like you are a little bit. So.
I'm near the basin where you wash your hands.
It is trial by one. I'm happy to go with that.
It is a really hard one, and in a real life scenario, I think most people would opt for rehabilitation. The trick is, at what point do you consider releasing someone into community or back into the public, and is the public safe from that person? And that would only ever bear out through, being monitored and treated and assessed. And so basically the way they've dealt with her, I think, is wholly appropriate, to be honest. And I get where you're coming from, Clarky, that you don't feel that there's a justice for the family, but they're her family too. She's got to live with the fact that she killed her own family.
I know her brain is underdeveloped because she's 11 or 12, and I struggle to work out whether I should take that into account or not because of the damage she did. And is the world better because we rehabilitate her, or is the world better because we just don't tolerate her? And I don't have that answer. I just don't. What I will say to you, if we're going to come to my punishment, I'm going to tell you about old mate Mayor Ted Bugston again, because he feels that Jasmine deserves. I feel like he nailed it, right? He really did. Jasmine deserves another chance as she was so young, but does not believe she should return to the community. He said the community is not the proper place for her. He went on to say it was a terrible place for her and she tarnished the community and hurt a lot of people. That says to me, we need to get in touch with Elon Musk, get him to set up a rehabilitation clinic on Mars and bring back that age-old punishment of banishment. Like, I think I want you to do well. I want you to succeed. I want you to understand that what you've done is wrong and hopefully learn from that. But please, just not amongst us, because we kind of all want to kill you a lot, and we don't want to be confronted by that day by day. So we don't have banishment as a punishment in our society anymore because we're like a global village. But I could see why banishment would work back in the day, because you've got a chance and go and make the most of your life, and we wish you well. Just don't come back here.
You said that well. Did I? You did, yeah.
Oh,
I was going to go harsh.
I'm sure there's a pocket of trial by wine world where we can banish people to never be seen.
Out the back behind the toilets.
Yeah.
Can it
Can
be?
we build one?
Can it be interplanetary though? I don't want it to be.
Why not?
Remember we
From
said
anybody.
Completely made up. It's whatever you want it
we
to
said-
be.
we sent what's her name off
Tomorrowland.
to live with Theon Greyjoy in Westeros, but I just feel like I want her. Yeah. I don't
Have you
know.
been to Epcot?
What is it?
Epcot was like Walt Disney's vision of the future. So in Florida, there's like, Disney World and Animal Kingdom, and then there's one called Epcot. You will have seen it. It's like, it was probably made in the 60s, and it had like this big globe, and it's like all these little worlds with like futuristic trains and that running through it. Maybe at the back of Trial by Wine World, we can dedicate a space to like Tomorrowland or something where it's like banishment land.
Fuck off land.
Yeah. Good riddance.
Yeah,
You're
good
on your
luck.
Yes,
own.
I think so.
Yep.
I think you have to go through some kind of wasteland first before you get to
Yeah.
the fields that you're allowed to actually rehabilitate yourself in, so that you don't ever want to come back either. So that's your barrier. Yeah. Okay.
You have to arrive blistered and sunburnt, and I think that maybe even have to go through Thunderdome, where 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Maybe that would work too.
Maybe we put them in a wicker man, but we don't actually fully burn them. So that's where they get the blistering. Then they go through the banishment, and then they go through beyond Thunderdome, and then they can go and work it out themselves.
And if they're still around, good luck to them. I hope you have a long and fruitful life.
Fruitful life. Oh, jinx, Barley's.
Jinx.
Barley's.
Snaps.
Get off the ground. Caroline's around.
All right. Well, apart from some technical issues, Clarky, you've done it again.
Well done.
Absolute
Smashed
corker of a story. So this is God. I'm just kidding for anyone who that offends. Signing off from the toilets of Alexandra.
I love it. I love it.
It was
Miss you already.
a mobile trial
getting-
by wine.
Are you getting the echo in here too? Miss you
Oh
already.
my God,
So
we
one
are.
thing,
You're nailing it. You
the
should
one
say,
thing that this episode missed was somebody using that public toilet. That would have been
oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
Happened in
someone
the
coming
last
in to do a
seconds.
quick whiz. It's like, oh, excuse me.
Thank
Schmitty,
God it's a
Schmitty,
public, holiday.
this is your one opportunity to say, Children of Earth, this is God. Don't be an ass. Children of Earth,
This is God. Don't be an asshole.
yes.
Well done.
Nailed it.
Right.
Thanks,
On
God.
that note,
You've reaffirmed my belief in you, unlike my belief in blood and guts and shit.
and razor blades and duck poetry.
Yes.
All right.
Just before we go, can I share one thing with you,
Yes.
please? Let's end on this.
Yes.
It's called The Human Duck by Lenore Hetrick.
Okay.
Guess I must be partly duck, for I love rainy weather. I'm happy as a lark when I and a rainstorm get together. Boots, a raincoat, umbrella. Then let the rain come down. With my dog beside me, off I go, splashing through the town. Maybe I'm not only partly duck, maybe I'm half a goose. Folks seem to think so when I pass, quietly, plainly on the loose. Yes, I like rainy weather a lot. And I beg the old weatherman to send a good heavy splashing shower every time he can.
Quack.
Quack.
And that, my friends, is duck poetry.
Oh,
Whack.
Excellent.
at its best. Very fine example. Of
All
duck
right.
poetry.
Excellent. Thank you, Clarky. See you later.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Miss you
Bye.
Miss you already, Schmitty. Bye, Swanny, darling.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.